Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another live stream, 1000th episode. Wow, I am honored. Honestly, I never thought I'd be sitting here doing this. Thank you to everybody who has kind of been here along the way with the journey for me. I'll tell you what, somebody asked me the other day if I could give one piece of advice to kind of people who do this, who get on here and just talk about fragrances. And the very first thing that popped into my mind was you have to kind of do it out of the passion, out of the love of the fragrances themselves. And that's what I hope my channel can kind of be. I'm really hoping that it can be kind of a play by play. You can kind of watch the growth of a real frag head. There's a lot of folks out there and they're very easy to spot who do it for money, and they do it for notoriety. They do it for money. They do it for the clicks. They do it for, just to mostly so they can get free bottles and, say they're a cool YouTuber and influencer and all of that stuff. And, I think those are all of the wrong reasons to kind of do this, if you ask me personally. So 1,000 videos in, my hope is that you can go back and kind of see the first couple hundred videos, the second couple hundred videos, and the stuff that's kind of discovered along the way. And I was thinking about kind of legacy the other day. I was talking with Rich, Mitch, and Jonathan in our little group chat. And, who knows how long these videos will be up. I mean, as long as YouTube remains solvent, I suppose. But it's crazy to think that there could be people a decade down the road just discovering kind of fragrances and then watching some of these old videos and old content. So I'm hoping it's a little bit of like a fragrance diary for you guys is my hope over time. Because even for me, and I say it all the time, I mean, I would consider myself a pretty hardcore frag head, as you can see. And I'm still discovering stuff even to this day. And there's so much stuff that people from the community have sent to me, which I have to say, thank you very much for your kindness and generosity. And, being a part of this, being a part, all of the folks who sent me stuff. I mean, you probably see decants from people who sent me stuff. Bexod sent me these decants, and there's so many decants up here of stuff I haven't even been able to get to. There's a bottle right here, and Nuge sent me. I haven't even been able to sniff yet, which I'm very excited about. Chato. But it's one of the most beautiful hobbies I think that a person can have, because it takes up one of your main senses, of course. And, with the world being as ugly as it is out there, it seems there's constant conflict, people fighting with each other nonstop. It seems there's no end in sight. It seems like everything is kind of escalated, to the next level. Everything, instead of just being toned down and learning to kind of, be good neighbors to our fellow earthlings, we just end up fighting and killing each other and all that stuff. And it's horrible. There's horrible stuff out there in the world. You can't turn on the news without being depressed. So fragrances for me have been a little bit of like an escape, if you will, a beautiful escape, but an escape nonetheless. And, the rabbit hole is deep. I will tell you that. It's like, anyone can jump into a pool and swim, but you're not going to jump into the pool and compete in the Olympics like, the guys I begrudgingly am watching after that horrible opening ceremony. But I do kind of like to see the all the work the athletes put into it and all that stuff. And so I think there's a big difference. Anyone can jump into a pool, but how deep do you want to take this hobby? Most folks just spray stuff on because they want to smell good and, appeal to the opposite sex. For people like us, and I'm assuming if you're kind of watching this, that you're one of us, you want to take the next step and understand not just the fragrance, but maybe the history, the time frame it falls in, the perfumer, the genre, the ingredients that were used, maybe who the oil house distributor was. Was it Takasago? Was it Givaudan? Was it IFF? All these different details. There's so many details to kind of go into. Is it vintage? Is it modern? Is it niche? Is it designer? And so that's where I think Fragcom kind of splintered into all of these different kind of cliques, if you will. There's the designer beast mode clique, looking for compliments, panty dropper clique, all that stuff. And every now and then you'll kind of run into a couple channels that are trying to kind of go a little bit deeper and take the next step. And I'm hoping me, and of course, some of the folks who I would call friends. And that is one of the beautiful things about this community as well, is you meet people who are, I would consider like vintage people, folks who you would expect to meet 50, 75 years ago, before it seems like the world has quote unquote moved on. I'm reading too much Stephen King's Dark Tower, but there's some interesting parallels, and I've met some amazing people because of the fragrance community. So this video is almost just a little bit of a celebration video, if you will. It's Sunday. I'll tell you, and I don't mind sharing some of my personal life with you guys, because I do feel like we're kind of a fragrance family, the Ram Frag fam. And so I had my daughter the entire month of July, okay? And then I get her the first weekend of August. So I had her almost like for a month and a week straight. And so this is one of the first days I'm really kind of getting to myself. And this is the very first thing that I want to do, because really it's funny, because when I was interviewing Sultan Pasha, he mentioned when he creates, there's like an itch. He feels like he has to kind of get out of him, you know? Like he can feel it inside until it's actually created and he puts it out. And for me, these videos are very therapeutic, chatting with you guys and getting to do these. And so I haven't been able to dedicate the time to the channel, but I love every single second that I get to spend with my daughter. And I'm going to try to spend as much time with her as I can. But this is like the very first thing that I want to do. That's where I say, I hope you can kind of see the passion. And that's where, if you're going to have a channel, if you're going to be a YouTuber, that's the first thing, that it has to be passion for the fragrances, because people can see it. You know, if you're doing it for the money, maybe you should go be a fan of, I don't know, you know, build a shoe collection or something. Go do something else. Go do something else other than fragrances, because it has to be about the fragrances first and foremost. And hopefully this is kind of the classroom, and we can all, and we learn together. I learn from you, you learn from me. But today we have kind of an open mic, if you will. We have a Ask Me Anything 1000 video celebration live stream. I have no agenda, no notes, no nothing. I'll tell you my scent of the day, and then we'll start getting into some of these comments, and we'll just see how long this celebration goes. I mean, it's 12:37 here in Texas on a Sunday, and I have nothing to do. So this could be an hour. This could be 6 hours. It just depends on how long and how far you guys want to go with this. But not many 1000 celebration videos come. And it's funny, because some of the people who I really idolize, and there are people in Fragcom that I idolize and look up to. Probably the person who most influenced me, I would say, is AC from the channel Smells Good. But of course, I wouldn't be doing these videos if it wasn't for Eugene and Rich Mitch kind of pushing me to do it, because I was just kind of in the background. I didn't care. I mean, I wanted to kind of do my own thing. And it's funny, because I would probably be doing some of the stuff I'm doing just on my own, you know, without the video kind of thing. There's a lot of times I'll wear a fragrance, break it down mentally. The video and actually doing the content is almost more like a diary, you know, diarying the journey. And so shout outs to AC for kind of influencing me. But I was looking at his most recent video, and he's on like 497 videos or something. My channel's 2.5 years old, and his has been going on for a lot longer. And so, you know, it does take a lot of work, but sometimes even I'm amazed that I've put up 1000 videos. I mean, that's still shocking to me that I was able to do that. It's not like I was chasing any records or anything, but not like there is any record book anyway in Fragcom. But it's still, I like celebrating these little milestones. It's like when you come across a channel and all of a sudden they like gain 30,000 subscribers and they don't say anything. You know, a lot of those subscribers are bought and paid for, because people would be celebrating these type of milestones because it's special. You know, it's when we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to celebrate it. So yeah, this is a little bit of a celebration video. Ask me anything, leave a comment, and let's run through some of these comments. And let me do scent of the day first though, because I wore a fragrance that it seems like every time I wear it, this is one of those fragrances. First of all, it's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. I think it's one of the best modern niche fragrances of all time. But every time I wear it, it leaves this indelible mark. Like I swear I can remember days that I wore this fragrance without even thinking about it, because it like etches the day. It burns it into my memory. You know, that's why I chose this. Plus, I just love wearing it. Oh, it's so good. It's Roja's Diaghilev, and you can see how little juice I have left. And I've often said I'm not going to buy another bottle of this, and I won't. This will be it for me. I'm going to cherish this because I have so many other fragrances to wear and enjoy. And as much as I love this, And now with money, of course, being an issue with the divorce, I probably will not be buying another bottle of this, but it is one of my favorites of all time. I did not use this entire bottle though. It was probably halfway full when I bought it. So I probably used 30%, I would guess, give or take. So I probably use 30 mil, which is a lot for when you consider the collection my size. People don't realize, you know, if I wore one thing and then didn't wear it again until I wore everything else, it would be 3 years before I wore it again. So, you know, 30 mils is a lot. It shows how much I really do love this, and one of my all-time favorites. So Diaghilev is my scent of the day. All right, Rich, you get the first comment, brother. Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for being part of Ram Duck. Holy fuck sticks. You tripped me out, Angie. I'm actually going to catch one of these. You're here, my friend. Yay. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support. Already like, because obviously it's going to be great. Thank you. Thank you for the belief and the kind words. Science Bear, what's going on? Science Bear and Frank, his old man, sent me this beautiful bottle, which I've been wearing occasionally, and I really, really, really like it. It's Halston 101. This is one of like the unicorn Halstons. And so I think if you search for it, you can still find it. You're probably going to pay $300. I think they got a pretty good deal on this is what I was told. But either way, it is very, very impressive work. And the bottle's amazing. It's almost like a grip of a gun or something. Man, these old Halstons are just badass. I mean, take a look at that. I mean, it's like a pistol grip, but it fits perfectly in the hand. It could be a little bit bigger. This is a 50 mil. There's even a little thumbprint here, but yeah, it's just a perfect little pistol grip. And it is good, really good stuff. A very well done, spicy sort of iteration that came out in 1983. It's got real ambergris, clary sage, lavender, lemon, geranium, bay leaf, pine, thyme, musk, tree moss, cedarwood, leather, and amber. One of the long lost 80s fragrances that does not get very much talk, but I will review this. This will probably get a vintage Hall of Fame review because I'm really digging this stuff. So good stuff, really good stuff. Thank you, Science Bear, for your generosity, my friend. So great ramen. Yes, thanks for being here, Grand Camo. Bear, Ram, Duck. Love it. Thanks, Frank. Thanks for pitching in on the Halston 101, brother. Ram is on, the real one. Thanks for being here, man. The YouTube notifications work this time. That's good stuff. We'll be watching on vacation. Much obliged, man. Much obliged. Hope you got your feet in the sand. Dushan, back from your vacation, eh? You're back in the real world. How was your summer vacation, man? I know you were on a mountain somewhere. Rizzle, what's up, man? Happy 1,000 video. I still can't believe it's been 1,000. Still, it's crazy to say. Like the stream for our team, yes. And for the new folks who don't know who I am, or maybe you just stumbled into this and you have no clue what's going on, that is a lot of old content for you to go back and check out. I will say I think the content has maybe gotten a little better, although I still haven't done things like graphics or anything like that. Unless I hire somebody that's going to do it for me, it's never going to happen. Like I'm just not going to do it. But yeah, maybe if the channel gets big enough, one day I'll hire someone to do the stupid thumbnail so I can be like, but yes, I will never do that on my own without a team without somebody maybe doing it for me. But maybe one day I'll have someone do the thumbnails or put the names of the fragrances on at the right time. I don't have the time for that. You know, sometimes I don't even have time to do the videos. Like the last list video that I did, that reference video part 3, I worked all day, went out with some of the, I worked all day, went to the park with my daughter, and then did the video between like 11 and midnight, and then went to bed to wake up to go back to work. Like I had to squeeze it into that hour time slot. So yes, I just don't have the time to do all the editing. Bois du Portugal, that is I put that in my reference lavender list. That's a beautiful barbershop fragrance, but the lavender, the Creed kind of woody cedar sandalwood, but so smooth, you know. Creed does their wood so smooth in the base. I think I had a 2013, a 75 mil of a 2013 bottle that I ran through. My flacons of 2018, but it's still held up very well. I think Takasago has done a very good job supplying the oils for that fragrance. If anyone else is in the Pittsburgh area, make yourself known. I am dying a lonely but very well-scented death. Actually catching a live stream is like snapping a photo of Bigfoot or seeing a unicorn. I feel like my eyes must be deceiving me, sir. Siage Sniffington. Hell of a name, by the way. It has probably been 3 months. You know, I've been reserving these live streams for things like interviews and stuff like that. It's been a while since I've just got up here and just chopped it up with you guys. And speaking of getting back on here, there'll be another one in about a week, August the 10th. So almost exactly a week, August the 10th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Liz Moes of Papillon. And I actually grabbed some, look at the preparation I do for you guys. I grabbed some fragrances. They're all in here that are usually under lock and key. And I brought them upstairs so if someone wanted to talk about some of these where they're not in the normal cabinet, I can reach down and get them. So see what I do for you guys. But the great Liz Moes is going to be on. And I've reviewed all of her fragrances now, even the newest one, which is Epona, which came out on August the 1st. So just a couple days ago, it just came out. And I've got a review of that on the channel. But I've reviewed things like Dryad. I've reviewed Hera, which, by the way, the newer Papillon bottles have this kind of frosted cap. The older one have this clear cap. But honestly, it doesn't matter because none of her fragrances have gone through a reformulation yet, except one will be getting reformulated soon. And it is Salome. And she basically said that the reason Salome is going to be reformulated is that there's a specific type of oil. It may even be the Hyrax oil that the firm that supplies it is no longer supplying it. So she's going to have to do a reformulation of this. She said she has enough to last for a little while. So it's not imminent, although, you know, imminent is relative, but it's not immediate. But it will be reformulated very soon. So if you're in the market for a bottle of Salome, now's the time to get it, in my opinion. But none of her other fragrances have ever been reformulated, according to her. So, you know, you can pick up things like Anubis, which is one of my all-time favorites. And I think this is the fragrance that really kind of set her on the map. I've reviewed this as well. And if I could own one more Papillon, it would probably be Tobacco Rose. Tobacco Rose is one of the most beautiful rose fragrances I don't have in my collection. And it's a fragrance that doesn't use any tobacco either. For a fragrance titled Tobacco Rose, she used like a hay accord if I remember correctly. But I reviewed that off of a sample. So yes, I am very blessed to have her on the channel August the 10th. It would honor me if we could have a turnout like today. 100 people watching would make me very happy because she deserves to have folks watching her. She is very worthy of a real frag head's time and energy and the stuff she does. I don't think she's ever made a dud. And the other thing that, and I've said this before, if you followed the channel, you know, but a lot of her fragrances, like for example, the one I just showed, Anubis, right? This is technically listed as an eau de parfum, but it's like right there on the border of an extrait. Like when you spray this, the oils stay on your skin. I mean, you'll see oils for 30 minutes. And she easily could have just cranked the dial up just a hair, called it an extrait, and doubled the price. And you know what? When you look at some of these brands, like Roja is a great example, right? And I mentioned how much I love Diaghilev, but I don't like how the brand would release something. Like they released one, and I forgot the name, Apex. They released Apex Eau de Parfum a year or two ago, I forget. But literally within like 3 or 4 months, they already released the extrait, okay, the pure parfum. And of course, it was whatever it was, close to double the price. I forget. But the houses can't wait to release the stuff that makes more money. She's going the opposite way. She could do it, but she's not. And that's the kind of, you know, creator I want to back. And I want to, you know, I definitely am in her corner. I think she's one of the great kind of artisanal houses making her own stuff, you know, and she uses really good quality ingredients. And for a self-taught perfumer, her stuff is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So I can't wait to kind of sit down with her again for round 2 of our Liz Moes interview, August 10th, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So set your calendars. I want to give her a good turnout. Portos on R and Vintage Avon Candid on L. Don't knock it if you tried it. I am not a fan of mixing and matching. As you know, I usually stick with one fragrance throughout the day until it's bedtime. Then I'll try something else at night. So for me, I'll be wearing Diaghilev all day. But yes, I know some folks love kind of the mix and match game. Have a good day. Thanks, Marius. Thanks for being here. Mabrook. Congrats, Ram. Thanks, Sam. Hello. Hey. Tej, thanks for being here. Salud. From Argentina. Yes, good to see you, Nicholas. Thank you, man. Djokovic wins the Olympiad, so this is a double celebration for me. Yes, I know. I'm a big Djokovic fan, by the way. And I'm also a big fan of his continuity, and I'm a big fan of how he kind of took a stand, you know? He kind of took his stand against getting vaxxed, and I salute him for that, for having the balls. And I think there was like a competition or two where they kicked him out. Like they didn't even let him participate. And he was like, well, then I'm not participating. Screw you guys. So you know the person who won that has an asterisk next to their name because Djokovic wasn't there. But yeah, I am very impressed with his continuity, how he's continued to do it. Sometimes tennis players rise and fall very quickly. He's been able to stay at the top for a long time, and that's been very impressive. Congrats, James. Sorry to sniffle in your ear. And being an encyclopedia, thank you, Val. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. I'm wearing my Desandras shirt for this. Sorry, my Desandras. My Les Abstraits shirt for such an occasion. So we can discuss Eugene's fragrances, La Douleur Exquise, and of course Desandra's, probably my favorite. Although I go back and forth which one I love more. These are 1 and 2 for me. They're really, really good. Bellam is the one that I didn't care for as much, just because of a personal taste and how it fit, that cloudy, meditative kind of iris thing. It's nice, but I much prefer these two. But he's going to be having a round 2 of fragrances coming out very soon. And I can't wait to see what him and Antoine Lee come out with. Hey, Pat. Rochas Man. Eau de Rochas or Rochas Man? Which one? Because I think this is Rochas Man. This must be the one. The lava lamp, if you will. Very, very sweet. Although it is a Maurice Roussel. But very, very sweet. One of these days, I'll get around to reviewing all of these. All in due time. What's going on? Thanks, man. Thanks for the support. Chanel Bella Respiro. I think maybe I've got a sample floating around, but I don't think I've really had a chance to wear that much, Kenzo. I'll put that on the list, brother. Boom, made it. Thanks for being here, Alawi. Hello, hello. Woo, great job. Dedication, not to mention knowledge and approach. Thank you, liberating me. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you are doing well on the other side of the world. A fragrance time capsule. Yes, that's right. As long as YouTube stays in business. Cheers, catalog. That's it. Best chaotic neutral fragrance reviewer. Chaotic neutral. I like it. I like it. Hey, Andre. Thanks for being here, man. Congrats to Djokovic. Indeed. Scent of the day, Quirtus. I really, really like Quirtus. Really like Quirtus. Although I'll tell you what I've really been enjoying. So I'll talk a little bit about Quirtus here. Although, you know, there is an entire live stream where we talk all about these. If you want to check out my Musk Arise Le Doré live stream, but Oud Taiwan, man, I have been absolutely head over heels in love with Oud Taiwan. I wore it again yesterday, and, you know, more and more of that smoky, like, yes, it has the greener aspects of the oud. It absolutely does. But let me just show you. Let me just show you guys the dent I've made in my decant already. Now, remember, I have a lot of fragrances to wear. So the fact I'm wearing this over, look at that. You know, for me, for a dent like that, that goes to show how much I love Oud Taiwan. And I'll tell you what, it's like this, someone described it as like this shaman black smoke, you know, but imagine you're taking that shaman black smoke and in the forest. And then imagine you take all of the aspects of the actual oud oil and Russian Adam like amplified it in the fragrance. And then what's crazy is he almost used this War and Peace like sort of dry down. So people ask me, is it like War and Peace? No, it's not like War and Peace, but it has aspects of War and Peace, if that makes sense. So the first part with that black shaman smoke, you know, imagine like suffocating smoke, and then all of a sudden you're kind of keeping it in, then all of a sudden you let it go, and the smoke just billows out. And then imagine the green tops of the trees in the forest, and you smell all that, the earthiness, a little bit of the mushroomy, earthy quality of Chinese oud, because Taiwan and of course China are right in the same part of the world. And so the history of Chinese oud, if you watch my review on that, I mentioned there's almost like this burning mushroom quality. You get just a hint of that. And then it goes into the ambery aspects of the base. And man, I have been loving it. Like I've been wearing it multiple times a week, over and over and over. I cannot stop wearing Oud Taiwan. I think it's just absolutely amazing. And what's so crazy about this is I remember, you know, when it first came out, like day one, I mean, people like going like this and then writing a review of how terrible it is. And I remember reading those and just thinking, like, this type of perfumery, you have to give it time. Like, you have to spend time with it and get to know it. And a couple folks who left comments saying, man, at first I was like, I don't know. And now the more I've worn it, the more I'm kind of getting to know it and loving it more. But you have to spend time with this type of perfumery. This is not like a sniff the top note for 2 minutes and just make your mind up. It's impossible to do that with Adam's work. But the fact that he's like showing us all these different ouds, and the fact that even him as an oud distiller has never smelled oud from Taiwan, shows how rare some of these kind of materials are. And the fact that he's bringing them to light to the world. And I know it's hard to get some of these, like you sit there and everyone's like ready, set, go, and everyone clicks and tries to buy right away. And that's the downside, is limited availability. But when you're using these type of rare ingredients, there's no other way. But real quick, I want to give a shout out to a guy who sent me some stuff from the Bay Area, and he's on a, hang on one second. So he is on a website called Oud Dict, like addict, but Oud Dict. So OUDDICT, Oudict. And he sells his work on there. So yesterday I tried one. He sent me these. Okay. So this is like a pure just oud oil, with some other things, I think, but it's almost like a tar style. But yesterday I tried this one called Musk Melange. And I was very impressed. I said, hey, man, do you have a place to buy it? He goes, well, they can buy it directly from my page. So I told him I'd give him a shout out. His username is LEL Khalidi. So it's L Khalidi. So it's ELKHALDI. And that's on Oudict. So Oud, like Oud Addict, but Oudict. Which I don't have a thing on there. He's like, hey, man, can you go write me a review? I'm like, dude, I don't have an account, but I'll give you a shout out on the channel. So if you want to check out some of his work, he uses like real musks and real oud and stuff like that. He sent me these. So sometimes when I'm not doing videos, I'm trying stuff like this that, just some up and coming guy. But I was impressed. I said, this is very respectable stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot, especially in the artisanal space, there is a lot to kind of try and get to know. And it's a whole, like, you think vintage is one rabbit hole. This is like a whole nother rabbit hole. But I love it. It's never ending. I love it. Thanks, Germs. Thank you so much, man. Charo is awesome. Get on that. It is. It's on the list. I really, really liked what I could smell it from the cap. And I mean, I could smell it without even opening it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I really like it from what I've smelled here. It smells like it's going to be my jam. So I will definitely decant that and wear it as my scent of the day. AM, thanks for being here. Rolfa, that is on the 2 review. That's on the Creed 2 review list. Liz is coming up in 6 days, coming up soon. Have you tried mixing essential oils? No. Me? No, I never have. If I ever released a fragrance, it'll probably be like in collaboration with someone like Antoine Lee or something like that. Antaeus Pour Homme. I grabbed Antaeus for you guys, and I grabbed the vintage. The original 80s bottles had these big sort of, someone asked me, why is your interlocking C and circle so large? It's because the older 80s bottles kind of look like this. The newer ones, they made the interlocking C's smaller and the circle smaller. Like, oh, I should have grabbed the other Antaeus bottle so I could show you. But yeah, this is one of the oldest bottles of Antaeus I have. And you can almost see the inside of the sprayer too. It almost looks like that old 80s grimy plastic, but it's so good. It's like this delicious purpley castoreum smell. Slightly metallic, so warming. I love Antaeus. And for summer, Antaeus Sport Cologne. If you are into kind of hunting the rare ones, Antaeus Sport Cologne is amazing in the summer. Absolutely amazing. For Texas heat, I love wearing this stuff in the heat. And I have a comparison video on the channel between Antaeus Sport and Antaeus for those of you who want to kind of dive into the weeds. So, Bexad. Finally caught a live. I'm in Uzbekistan enjoying vacation. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to see you too, man. Thanks for all your generosity. And I wore one of the fragrances you sent me to bed the other night, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was this. Baryshnikov Pour Homme, the OG. There's a sport version too, which isn't bad, but the OG is my jam. It really is. I was very impressed with this. Baryshnikov Pour Homme. Richard Berry Fragrances Inc. is what that says right there. And then it says Baryshnikov Pour Homme. Sorry for the shitty camera. But very impressive. Very like early 90s Oriental kind of thing. It reminded me just a little bit of where Jacques Fat Pour L'Homme was going, which is maybe one of Jeremy Fragrance's best recommendations he ever made. If you can get the older one with the big fat sticker instead of the smaller sticker, do that with the cap that kind of looks like this instead of the gunmetal cap. But these two definitely are playing in the same ballpark, if you will. Baryshnikov Pour Homme and Jacques Fat Pour L'Homme. But yeah, I wore this to bed the other day. Really enjoyed it. I'm going to wear this as my scent of the day and try to review this because this deserves some love as a discontinued gem. Sad to see all these fragrances go, but I love discontinued fragrances. And Bexad sent me an amazing haul of like 16 discontinued fragrances, which are on the channel. Big Ballin, thanks for being here. Dushan Germs, thank you for your generosity, man. Appreciate that. Thank you. I have no clue what 25 NOK is, but even if it's 1 penny, I am very grateful. So thank you. Thank you, man. Appreciate that, Marius. Bran, congrats on an epic milestone. Thanks for being here, man. Good to see you. Hope you're not working too hard. That would be a good scent name. The Rabbit Hole. I've got some scent names lined up, actually. I don't want to give them away yet, but I've been thinking of what, if I ever released a fragrance, what would it be called? And I've got a couple I'm happy with so far. So there's a few. AM, very appropriate for this. Indeed, the Olympics is woke garbage. It is terrible. It is absolutely horrendous what they've done. It's like the elites can't help themselves, but just tarnish anything. Like I don't know what it is. It's and what's funny is they put it out and then they're like, oh, we had no idea it would offend anyone. It's like, really? You were working on this opening ceremony for 2 years. You didn't think having Papa Smurf with a guy standing next to him with his balls hanging out would offend anybody? Like, okay. All right. Congrats, thinking about blind buying Aton's new perfume. I was very impressed with that. And you know what? Russian Adam hit me up afterwards and he was like, I knew you'd like it. there's a lot of really high-end naturals in that fragrance. And I said, you know what? That is Eitan's best work so far. He should be proud of it. He said he is. So I think that's him really taking the next step. I think if you have my taste, you'll be fine blind buying his new stuff. Congrats on 1,000 videos. Thanks for being here, Prakar. Good to see you, brother. Yes, the Les Abstraits. The Les Abstraits. This is called something. I forgot what it was called. This is called something, but very proud of Eugene, man, for what he did. Very proud of Eugene. Robin, good to see you. Professor, congrats. Thanks for sitting in the front row as always, Antonio. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Which sector of Fragcom is the overdramatic theater club? I'm not falling into that trap, Lily. Nope. Congrats on your 10K video. Well, 10K video is coming up very, very soon. We are celebrating 1,000 videos today. We are celebrating 1,000 videos. 6 hours of Ramadan begins now. We'll see. My voice may not hold up. I was yelling with my daughter. There's a book that I used to read as a little kid, which I found, and it still has me trying to write my name in terrible, squiggly letters in the front page. So it's probably like 40 years old. It's an old book called Johnny Lion's Bad Day. And in it, the lion goes, roar. And we were screaming roar into each other's faces last night before bed. And my voice is a little sore. So we'll see how long I make it. Congrats. Thank you. Hola. Sir Antonio Hobson. I was part of the Panty Dropper Click, but realized it was false advertising. Yes, you've graduated, AM. You have graduated, my friend. How are you? Going back to that real quick, some of those live streams, I mean, literally, it's like watching a Ricky Lake episode or Jerry Springer, like I understand that it's entertainment, let's say, but I remember some folks coming on here and being like, dude, all you do is talk about fragrances. And I'm like, yeah, it's a fragrance live stream. I don't know if you realize that. It is a fragrance live stream. So yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you're into. There's the thing about the internet is there's like a clique or a tribe or, a group for everybody. What's up, Ram? Damn, 1,000 videos live. African Oud by Unleashed Apothecary. I'm in Diaghilev. I've never smelled anything from Unleashed Apothecary, but I've heard some folks talk glowingly of it. Don't be a pussy. Drop the link. You know what? It's not being a pussy. It is the fact that the microphone that I'm using, sadly, doesn't pick up anybody else except for me. Or if it does, I have no clue how to use it. So I would have to put on my, I'm taking your order at Wendy's headset if someone else hopped on. So I'm going to jealously probably roll solo today. But I'm going to have to figure out how the hell this thing works. Or, I'll just have the old school headset when Liz Moes comes on in 6 days. Some days you're Barbara. Thank you. Welcome from Atlanta. Thanks for the kind words. Congrats. Thank you, Norrin. Appreciate that, man. Was there one particular moment with a scent you liked that made you think I need to make a YouTube channel? No, actually, no. I was pretty deep into the hobby well before the YouTube channel started. It was more enough people started to tell me like, dude, you need to make a channel. I was like, okay, fine. I'll just try it and see. But I had no clue where it was going to go. The only thing I knew is that I didn't want my channel to be what everyone else's was. That's what I knew. I knew that I wanted to kind of go my own way. I'm a contrarian at heart anyways. Like if I see the flock of people going this way, I want to go that way anyways. It's just who I am. I can't get away from that. And so I just knew that I wanted to kind of create a channel that was based around some of the stuff that other people wouldn't review, because I noticed things like when a new fragrance would come out everyone would drop their review right away when they got their free bottles, and it was all the same. And it was a race to see who could get the most clicks. And, you know, some of the clone videos and stuff like that got clicks, and I didn't care about that because I wasn't into it. So I wanted to talk about what I was into. And then I started to realize things like when Rich Mitch made his video on Calvin, which I absolutely love. And you can ask him. I told him, dude, you need to just go do it. Like, there's no reviews on Calvin, like my favorite Calvin Klein fragrance of all time. And there's no YouTube reviews at all. And this came out 45 years ago. You need to make a review, dude. You need to do like an exclusive review. That's when I realized that there is a market for this. Now, how big the market is for people hunting down vintage discontinued stuff, I didn't care. I just knew there was a market. And I knew that I wanted to just be a part of kind of sharing my thoughts. That's what the YouTube channel was originally all about. And then all the stuff that kind of stemmed from that, you know, grew from that. But no, there was no kind of scent that made me go, I need to make a video about this. It was just more kind of the whole layout of the land, if you will. Smells good is awesome. Yeah, man. AC is probably the biggest influence to me personally, because AC also does it for the love of frag. You can tell he's a hardcore frag head. And he just gets on here, shares his thoughts. He doesn't drop affiliate links or anything like that. And you know, I noticed there were some folks from the community that sent him some stuff. And you know, when you have folks from the community sending you stuff and they want to hear your thoughts on it, that you're doing something right. It's not the brands, or, I mean, I have taken stuff from brands. Like I took that Jaseta Titanium from the brand and bashed the shit out of it. And then I figured, well, I'll never hear from them again. They sent me this piece of garbage, maybe one of the worst fragrances of all time. And if you want to laugh, go look at some of the comments. There are some butthurt people about what I said about Titanium in there. There are some butthurt people, but I'm like, oh, fuck them. You know, that's my thought. It is awful. So I have taken stuff from brands, but I knew I wanted my channel to be my honest thoughts, whether people liked it or not. And I hope I always stay true to that. And if I don't, I think that's where I know it's time to hang it up. Like, or if I stop enjoying it, because at this time it's still extremely enjoyable. And it's like the first thing that I want to do, you know, like, it makes my day. Lately, I've been focused on just kind of taking care of my body, eating healthier, eating right, and doing the videos and you know, just focusing on the mind, the body, and fragrances. And it's been a great year for me this last year. It's been a fantastic year. Maybe one of my favorite years ever. So last day of vacation, let's go. Private label. I love private label. I'm going to review that one of these days. Javoy has some amazing stuff. Yes, fellas. Love that one. Sartorial Penhaligon's. I've got a decant floating around somewhere, but I really think Sartorial may be one of Penhaligon's best creations. I think Sartorial is one of their best. I was sent a bottle by somebody just the other day of this, and I know nothing about it. I didn't even know it existed until they sent it. Apparently, it's a discontinued Penhaligon's called LP number 9. So, I mean, it seems like it's going to be a good one. We'll see. I'll have to wear it and give it some wears. I haven't even worn it yet. Even in summer. Yes, wearing Virtus Soul Patchouli with love from Nigeria. I've got a couple Virtus samples, I think, but I haven't done any videos on them. One of these days. Thank you for the kind words. Greetings. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Good to see you. Amouage World Tobacco. Someone sent me a beautiful decant on my last video I did on Mississippi medicine. It included some unboxings, and one of them was a 10 ml decant of World Tobacco. And that is... probably if you said, Ramsey, you could add one full bottle, World Tobacco would be right at the top of that list. I really enjoyed that. How are you? How are you? Fougere Royale, that's also on the review list. So many fragrance channels buy subs. You can tell because they have 100 plus subs and their videos get 2 to 3 views. You're exactly right. And, you know, if you went from 0 to 100,000 subs, like, you would be ecstatic. At least I would. I'd be doing celebratory videos. I've been doing kind of celebration videos every 1,000 we hit because it's a milestone, you know? But yeah, the buying sub things, I mean, I think I could understand why they would want to do it from the appeal. Like someone new comes to your channel and they're like, oh, look at all these subs. This guy must know what he's talking about. But just, I don't know, my pride could never allow me to buy subs. Like you know in your heart of hearts that you're fake if that's the case. No matter what, even if you want to flaunt and act like you're not, you know in your heart of heart you bought those fucking subs. Layla's my daughter. Thank you, man. Thanks, Frank. Thanks for being a part of this, brother. You've been a big part. I still have some of the I still have some stuff that you sent me that's on the short list. I want to review this Halston Z before summer is gone because it's really a summertime fragrance. It's one of the freshies from Halston, and it is discontinued. Is everything from Halston discontinued? It certainly seems like every single thing I'm pulling up is discontinued. Is the brand like done? It would be a shame if it is, because Halston was such an iconic American brand. But yeah, that is a 1998 release. So a lot of fresh, citrusy, woody type notes in Halston Z. This came out in 1998. And so I'm going to try to review this before the summer is done. Scent of the day is Roger's Great Britain. Ah, yes, I love Great Britain. Can you smell that little soft violet that's in there? I put that in my violet reference scents. What's the best release date for Diaghilev? Release date? I have no clue. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. What's the best release date for that? You'll have to clarify. I don't think you have to worry much about batch codes. Not like Roja's Creed or anything. Diaghilev Papa. Vintage Azure. Oh, yeah. Well, I've got some amazing Azure content coming soon. You can see, actually, speaking of Bexod, he sent me this beautiful Azure. This actually says Azure Sunshine Cologne Splash. I've never seen this bottle before. And so when I first read it, I was like, Azaro Sunshine. I was like, what is this? I've never even seen it. But it's Azure. But if you go watch that unboxing, the discontinued unboxing from a couple weeks back, when I smelled this, I was like, oh, it smells like Aramis. It smells like Aramis, because Azure and Aramis definitely share some similarities. And then that's when I looked at it again and saw Azure. So apparently this was like given as a gift, and it actually says gift, not for sale, to some of the employees at the time. So Azure is just one of my all-time favorites. I'll review this one of these days. I think it's one of the greatest fragrances ever created. It is, and I think Azure, I think Diaghilev takes bits and pieces from Azure personally. So we will be doing a Azure video one of these days. Rich Mitch, the goat. Yes, the duck. Fischersund Flot Holt. Never heard of it. Glad to hear. What about Great Britain? Great Britain's amazing. Congrats. Happy to see you. Happy to see you too, Mr. Musk. Roja Oligarch Eau de Parfum. Yes, I reviewed that. Oligarch got a full review on the channel, and I really enjoyed it. I really do enjoy it. This and Terre de Hermes are just beautiful in the heat here in Texas. Jeannie Dushan, cheers. So I asked about Oud Maximus. I heard some lady saying she wears it at night and it's not really a strong oud. If you want the strong one, go for Lao Oud. Like I said, go for Lao Oud. That's the one that's the strongest, most animalic oud he's created. I also reviewed another one from him called Triad, which I don't own. If I could own one more Bortnikov, it would probably be Triad. Triad is a little more animalic, I think, but go watch my review of Triad. But I would just go for Lao Oud if you want an animalic oud from Bortnikov. That's my 2 cents. Zonka, I really like Zonka. Zonka is an amazing creation. And Bertrand Duchefort, he was just kind of, I think he was just operating on another level at this point when he did stuff like Zonka, Jubilation 25. Oh, it's so unbelievable. And of course, there's that hit of incense. There's that, Zonka has this note of, leche, and he used a peony note in Zonka, which just a couple years before this, so this is 2006, I think. In 2002, he released Diaman, which I reviewed on the channel. And Diaman and Zonka maybe are the two best uses of peony I've ever smelled in a fragrance. And they're both Bertrand Duchefort. So he was really onto something. That's why I say I think it's cool to kind of pull on that thread, you know, like pull on the perfumer thread, who made what, follow them across different brands, and see the similarities. That's why I did the perfumers portfolio videos and stuff like that. You say posh and shite fairly often, which are common in the UK. No, I have not, but I do talk to Rich Mitch all the time, so maybe that's his fault. Jagalev's is pricey. Yes, it is. Roja is proud of that juice. He is very proud. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, bro. I wore that yesterday. Too much time around me. That's it. I'm blaming Rich. What's your favorite gun that I own? Probably my AR-10. I really like my AR-10, but I don't know. I'd have to really think about that. My favorite gun. That's a tough one. I don't know. I'm well stocked, so I'd have to think about that. Yes, at least you can buy the 7.5 mils, but still, sometimes when you see the price of those 7.5 mils, you're like, ugh. Congrats. Thanks, Jonathan, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yes, that's right. Jonathan. 2 Titans. And Jonathan, 3 Titans of industry. Hey, Sandra, good to see you. Congrats on the continued success. You tell a fragrance story unlike anyone else. Speaking of fragrance stories, have you seen the movie Perfume, A Murder Story? No, but I was told by my brother Spice from Hawaii, who came on a live stream with me. And you can go check out that live stream. It was right after the horrible fire in Hawaii. And so Spice told me to watch that, and it's on the list. I promise you. I'm watching The Witcher right now, which I'm not big into TV because most shows are shite. And that's just the truth of the matter. I can't stand when they interject like propaganda, and I have a nose for it. Like I can pick it out, where most people are like, no, you're exaggerating. I'm like, nah, bullshit. They put that shit in there on purpose. I'm not watching this shit. So I will pick it out, but there's a couple shows I've watched recently that I really, really liked. One is Shogun, and I watched the entire first season of Shogun. Usually after my daughter goes to bed, because some of it is pretty bloody. And so I watched all of Shogun, and I really like seeing the old, like the way of Japanese culture, and you know, the kind of rules and maze of kind of history that they have and all that stuff in Japan. That was really cool. Now I'm watching The Witcher, which is kind of fantasy and stuff like that, but they've done a good job with The Witcher. And I played the game for a little bit, so I kind of like, you know, how it's following the script of the game. So I'll probably watch the first 3 seasons or so. I heard they kind of went off script after season 3, but yeah. So, but I will watch Perfume, A Murder Story. I promise. It's on the list. Already a legend. Side note, should I get full choke or remain a straight man? I mean, I've got a sample of full choke up here somewhere. God knows if I could find it, but it is there. So one day maybe I'll get around to doing an early impression on it. Full choke is one of those one of those Pierre Bourdon creations that came kind of in between the time that he did his big hit for Dior. And when he kind of became a little bit freelance and he started to make all these little kind of fragrances here and there for all these, I won't say smaller brands, but lesser known brands like Francesco Smalto. And what's interesting about Full Choke, though, is it's one of like 20 Pure Bourdon creations right before Aventus that use the pineapple note that Jean-Christophe Herault, his kind of pupil, if you will, ended up creating such a hit with in Aventus. So it has pineapple, but it also has gunpowder. And if you remember, I told the story, if you happen to catch my review of Himalaya recently, I told the story of how the head of Dior at the time, who was kind of acting as like in a managerial role, his name was, hang on, give me 1 second, I'll tell you. His name was, oh no, it doesn't say. Hang on, one sec. I think it was 1995, Dolce Vita. Yeah, his name was Maurice Roger. I can never remember his name for some reason. It was Maurice Roger, okay? And Maurice Roger was kind of like the big shot at Dior, acting managerial kind of head, big boss. And he agreed to Pure Bourdon making a fragrance with this gunpowder note in it. So Pure Bourdon was obviously working on this gunpowder note. Well, when Maurice Roger ran into some health problems, the new guy came into Dior and decided to go in a different direction. And so all of these kind of briefs like Himalaya, which went to Creed, or Full Choke, which in 2004 went to Francesco Smalto, you can kind of see this note that he was working on, just like I was saying with Bertrand Duchefort in his Peony note, okay, between Diamant and then Zonka. You can see the similarities. And so you can do something very similar with Pure Bourdon and the gunpowder note in Full Choke. So even though the bottle is definitely suspect and you don't want it sitting right here, maybe in the front, maybe put it a little bit in the back, I think it's still worth getting. I would have a bottle if money was no issue. So happy to catch a live. Happy for you to be here. Don't turn into Jensen's. Sadly, I know what you mean. Although I like Ashton. And I wish he would just talk more about what he wants to talk about and just let everything else fall by the wayside. You know, like sometimes he worries too much about maybe talking about stuff that's going to get clicks and stuff like that. He just needs to just talk about what because he loves vintage fragrances. I know one of his all-time favorite vintages is Drakkar Noir. This is a Cosmere bottle of Drakkar, but he just needs to talk about what he likes, you know, and let the chips fall where they may. He's big enough to do that, but I understand why he went the route he went down. So I like that your content is evergreen. I always check you out. This is not a top 10. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. Congrats. Thanks. Welcome from Dubai and counting. That's right. Well, I mean, unless something happens to me, the plan is for this to continue on for many, many years. You know, I was telling someone the other day that 1,000 videos done. Some of them obviously are lists and stuff like that. So they're not all individual reviews, but I haven't made a dent. I mean, there's probably thousands more content I could do just on these bottles you see right here. Forget all the samples and all the other stuff. And sometimes I focus on the samples because I assume the bottle's going to be here. Now, we'll see how everything all plays out by the end of this year, because I assume the bottles are going to be here. But the stuff that is gifts, I get to keep. So I may lose some bottles because of, you know, they were purchased during marriage. I don't know how that's all going to work out yet, but there's a ton of content that I have to do still. So yes, that is, you're right. And the counting part is we're just beginning. Did you know the name Ramsey comes from Angus, Scotland? The more you know. I will tell you the history of my name if you would like. A client actually that I work with asked me and I told her, so it's fresh in my mind, or fresh telling the story. So I was born in Jordan, as many of you know, and there is no Ramsey in Arabic. There's no Ramsey. Just like as an example, this guy who's Arabic wrote my name. He wrote R-A-M-Z because there's no like R-A-M-S-E-Y. In Arabic, it's Ramsey, R-U-M-Z-I, Ramsey. And the funny story is my mom actually still calls me Ramsey. So like if I'm out and about with friends and they don't know, they're almost like, does your mom know your name? But it's in Arabic, it's Ramsey. And that's what it was supposed to be. But my parents knew we were coming to the United States. So they gave me like a Anglified version of Ramsey, if you will. So that's where the name Ramsey comes from. And a lot of times you'll see Ramsey as like a family name, you know? So Dave Ramsey or something like that. You don't see Ramsey as a first name too often, but that's why. What is your favorite fragrance from MFK? Probably Absolute Pour Le Soir. I like the pissy animalic honey, dirty kind of touch to that. I also like Ciel de Gum. Those are the two discontinued ones. I've reviewed Ciel de Gum on the channel. I will review Absolute Pour Le Soir very soon. I also really like the original Oud that he did. So yeah, I'll review this as well. This is one of the strongest fragrances ever. At least for me, man, this stuff lasts and lasts and lasts. God forbid it gets on anything other than your skin. Like one time I had this pad sitting on my desk and I sprayed my hand, okay? And little droplets got on it. I could literally smell it for months. Like even with pages being turned, I could smell MFK's Oud for months. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously it's a westernized style Oud fragrance, but I do really like his eau de parfum, his Oud eau de parfum. For someone whose face isn't in the thumbnails, which the YouTube algo loves and encourages, you do pretty well. Is that true? Well, sometimes my face is in the thumbnails. The algorithm cares if your face is in the thumbnails. I had no clue. Shalimar, one of my all-time favorites. That is a top 10 fragrance for me, by the way. Where does your Dior Fahrenheit range on your all-time favorites? Well, I did a top 100 list, so I would urge you to go check that out. I did that for 1,000 subscribers, like a 1,000 subscriber celebration. I did a top 100. So yeah, you can go check that out. It probably hasn't changed much, so that is probably one of my most popular videos. Has Targhee Force being similar to Bois de Portugal? Maybe a little bit. I never thought of that, but maybe. I reviewed Targhee Forest. I really enjoyed it. I think Manny Cross is an amazing perfumer. It's funny because one of the guys I really trust and really rate his nose. He hated these Rogue fragrances, but like for example, Tabak Vert's one of my all-time favorite tobaccos. This is like a green, dry, brown. It's like a it smells like something Winston Churchill would wear, like not the fake Creed stories of Winston Churchill, but really Winston Churchill, you know. Just imagine a man who smokes like 8 cigars a day, but it's so good. I think this is one of the most underrated tobacco fragrances ever. I love Tabak Vert, and Rogue is just amazing. Like the stream, you rascals. Thank you, Rich. Top 10 dirty hamper fragrances. Someone asked me to request them a fragrance that smelled like a basement yesterday. Can anyone think of one? I was like, basement? I drew a blank. I was like, man, I'm going to have to use my lifeline and ask the audience on this one. I heard Targhee Forest is fantastic. It is very good. I think I'm going to grab it. Grab it. Oh, no. Congrats, Ramsey. Sorry to hear about the divorce. Why divorce? I mean, I'm happier this way, so I mean, I couldn't go into all of the details on a live stream, but needless to say, we were incompatible. Let's put it that way. Incompatibility. And yes, so I am happy to be single, although it's been dragging on for over a year. So we shall see. Fingers crossed it'll be done by, let's say, end of October, at least, is what I'm hoping. Do you have a rider insurance? Yes, I do. I do actually, but hoping to never have to use it is one that I did not like, as was Frederick Mall. Tabak Dore. You didn't like Tabak Dore or the Night. I think you need to spend more time with those. Those are two very heavy and dark fragrances. Tabak Dore is probably one of my favorite tobacco fragrances that I don't own a full bottle of. Like if you said, Ramsey, you can have one tobacco fragrance you don't own, go. It would be Tabak Dore. I think Tabak Dore is one of the most like realistic tobaccos and deep tobaccos, you know, like tobacco is a very, it's a very complex note, and it has so many different sides to it. It can be floral, it can be earthy, it can be kind of crinkly. You think of like dried tobacco leaves, like walking into like a cigar room. It can have all of these different facets, earthy, spicy, and it can have green. Imagine like green, uncured tobacco leaves. There's so many different aspects it can have. Tabak Dore like encapsulates all of these in such a complex way. I love it. And as far as the Night goes, I mean, that's not even a very animalic oud fragrance to my nose. There's much more animalic ouds. That's a pretty tame oud. Probably you just need to spend some more time wearing them, and you'll end up loving them in a year or two, is my guess. Bengal Rouge is amazing. Although if I could have one more from the house of Papillon, it would probably be Tobacco Rose. Tobacco Rose blew me away, man, because I've smelled some actual rose autos that Russian Adam sent me, and all different types: Iranian rose, Taif rose, Bulgarian rose, you know, Russian rose, on and on and on. Tabak Rose is one of the most realistic roses when you compare it to the pure rose autos I've ever smelled. It is phenomenal. Very impressive work by Liz Moes. Very impressive. I've never smelled that, although I'm not a big Zaharoff fan. I do rate Zaharoff Signature. So I reviewed Zaharoff Signature on the channel, and I said I kind of liked it, but it's not a house I've really dived much into. Boss by Hugo Boss, the OG. I pulled that out just for this. I figured someone would bring it up. This is a top 10 fragrance for me. I love Hugo Boss. Number one. Oh, man. And I reviewed this. This is me in a bottle. This is signature scent. I made a signature scent video recently, and this was on that list. This is fuck. Oh, man. I love this. And I've got a backup. Thank gods. Thank the gods. Knowing you love leather, did you try Boko Jasmine? No, I did not. Very, very unique. I did not, no. Although with a name like Jasmine White Leather, it doesn't sound like the kind of leather that I like. Like if you want an example of my kind of leather, here you go. Bel Ami from Hermes, the original in the shaker bottle. Although the first reformulation would be fine as well. This is leather. Leather and woods and like ancient, you know, areas that have been lived in, you know. Bel Ami is, I mean, it's a top 3 fragrance for me. It's either 1, 2, or 3. It competes with Antaeus and Kouros. It's somewhere in that top 3 spot. Takes her time with the fragrances that I'm constantly putting. Yes, that's a big part of it. That is a big, big part of it. She takes her time. She doesn't overcharge or try to rip people off. You know, for the world we live in, her prices are very fair for what you get. She uses very high quality materials, and her stuff is unique and different. And you can tell she really, you know, she cares about it. Like I said, when we started an hour and 8 minutes ago, the passion and all of that has to be there from the perfumer as well. There's a lot of perfumers who just pump stuff out. Like what Francois Demachy did at Dior at the end of his reign is a good example of that. All those Dior Privés that were just shite, you know, is a good example. Or some of the stuff Francis Kirkjohn puts out, I mean, you know, just seem uninspired, boring white musk base thing. I mean, you know, and it sells. So, I mean, I understand sales are the name of the game, but there's another side. And it's like I said at the beginning, how deep into this do you want to go? Liz is making stuff for us. And so I really respect her for that. Any plans for interviews with some legendary? I mean, I would love to have Jean-Claude Elena or Pierre Bourdon on the channel. There is an open invitation to all of those guys. Bertrand Ducheffour, Jean-Claude Elena. I mean, God, that would be like a dream come true. Would it happen? Probably not. I mean, they could go on any fragrance channel ever. Why would they come on my small channel? You know, but would I have them? Hell yes, I would have them. Hell yes. Not a fragrances that have notes in the name, but doesn't use material. It doesn't use the material list video. Lily, stop it. What does Papillon? What does Anubis? Oh, there's not. I've done a review on Anubis. I would urge you to check that out, Robert. But Anubis doesn't really smell like any fragrances I've smelled. You're going to have to imagine lots of resins. You know, the imagery is like ancient Egypt. So imagine Pharaoh sitting on the throne, incense and resins burning. And there's this amazing sort of suede, one of my favorite suede fragrances. It's deep, thick, rich. With what you just said about not liking the night or Tabak Dore, Anubis may be too much for you. It sounds like maybe your taste is a little more fresh. But if you're into dark, deep, thick, rich fragrances, Anubis it's one of my all-time favorites. I'm a self-taught collector. Yes, that's right. I'm in love with Papillon. I cannot believe it. I think she's a genius. I agree. Her work is, it really stands out. In a sea of kind of everyone is the same, she really stands out. Really, really stands out. And she's an amazing person. I've really gotten to know her over the last couple of years. It's almost been 2 years since I've done that interview with her, which is crazy to think about. It's almost been 2 years. Actually, I think it's coming up very close to 2 years. You know, YouTube stays at 1 year. When you go to that video and you go to the Liz Moes interview video that I uploaded, it stays at the 1 year mark until it hits like 2 years. And so I think we're coming up on 2 years very, very soon. I'll have to check the exact date, but we're coming up on it. Excuse me. Please like the video. Thank you. Blind Body Pona should arrive tomorrow. All right. So you'll have it. You'll have smelled it and worn it by the time our interview comes. That's why I wanted to wait at least a little bit. And so hopefully more people get a chance to buy Epona. Anubis is similar to Skin on Skin. I've never smelled Skin on Skin, Dusha. I'm sorry, but I appreciate you sharing that, bro. Many congrats. What a great journey. I can still remember the creation of Adam painting in the background. Please bring that back in some corner. Scent of the Night, Givenchy Gentleman, 1974. You cannot go wrong there, man. That is the all-time great patchouli. One of my many bottles right here. I love this stuff. It is, I mean, I think it's just patchouli perfection. I don't think you can go wrong there. Live, love, laugh. Good to see you, Brandon. Love your content. Aqua de Colonia Alba de Sol. Never smelled it. Thank you for the kind words. The list might be dominated by Oud frags. 1,000 down, 9,000 to go. Let's get it. Let's go, RXL. Let's go. Brandon. If for Men. Ah, you know, that is a... That... If for Men is a very interesting creation. It's discontinued. It's got this poem by Rudyard Kipling in it, which is one of my all-time favorites. If you can keep your head when all about you are living there, are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give away to hating, and yet don't look too good. nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so behold, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can fill the forgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Hell of a poem. Absolutely hell of a poem. One of my all-time favorites. So apparently this brand was a brand from 1936. And Sorella Fontana is kind of a Italian label, if you will. But what's crazy about this is if you're a fan of, okay, and I'm going to show you one of the all-time great cheapies ever. But if you are a fan of this, Jaipur Homme. This is the Eau de Parfum. I also have the Eau de Toilette. I've done a comparison video between the two on the channel, if you're into that kind of thing. But this is almost like a weird Italian kind of version of this. Also, If for Men came out, I want to say, a couple years before Jaipur Homme. So what's crazy is, yeah, 1994. I think that's like 4 years before. Let me see when Jaipur Homme came out. Jaipur Homme came out in 1998. Yeah, 4 years before. So 4 years before. So this has much more green notes in it, like galbanum, myrtle, basil. But the way the myrrh and benzoin and vanilla kind of create that sort of, vanillic, oriental sort of base is going to remind you of Jaipur Homme. Now, this is one of Anique Minardo's kind of masterpieces. So if you're into that, I would urge you to check out If for Men. Now, it's much more green and it has kind of more detail in that area, the greenery, the spices and stuff like that. But if you like the base of Jaipur Homme, I would urge you to check this out. And Anuj sent me this from Enchanté Perfumes. And so if you are into this kind of thing, I would highly urge you to check out Anuj's website, enchantéperfumes.com. I've shouted him out a million times, but if you're new to this, he's like the go-to for me when people say, I want a vintage fragrance, where do I go? I just go, just start with Anuj. Just go to enchantéperfumes.com. His WhatsApp number is literally on the top of the page. Send him a message, say, Ramsey sent me. This is what I'm looking for. And he will either send you pictures of what he has, or he will say, let me hunt for it and get back to you, or I just don't have it. Good luck. But I would just start there, to be honest with you. That would be my recommendation. Hello, Sensei. What's going on, Dionysus? Brandon, greetings from Georgia. Greetings, Crimson Flame. Precisely. Le Labo Tabak 28. I have never smelled that, I don't believe. There's a lot of Le Labos I've never smelled. Hey, Buster, what's going on, man? After Liz Moes, you are the next guest here. Yeah, we do have to have Brandon on. Alcaraz played really. He has a bright future ahead of him. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Congrats. Thanks, John. Have you tried Phileas? So I think Anuj sent me a bottle of a Nina Ricci called Signature, maybe? I think this was called Signature, but I've never tried Phileas. No, Phileas is on the list, but I really I've been very impressed by the house from what I've smelled so far. So yes, it is on the list. Only the dead got Happy midday Ramathon. That's it. I'm wearing a Les Abstraits today too. I'm wearing their shirt, although I'm rocking Diaghilev. What's going on, Brandon? One thou wow. Mr. North, welcome. Thank you for all you do. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, Mr. Charles. What's your opinion on Roja's A Midsummer Dream? Hate it. My least favorite Roja of all time. Sorry. I've reviewed it on the channel. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. I thought there was way too much use of like white musks and stuff like that. So yeah, if you said, Ramsey, you can pick one Roja, that would be towards the end of my picking. Scent of the Day, Eden by Casherelle. Never smelled it. Congrats on your 1000th episode. You are a treasure for the community. Much love and appreciation. Thank you, man. That means a lot. Appreciate that. More videos destroying fragrances like Versace Arrows, please. Those just have to come naturally, man. I can't force it, you know. But yes, they deserve to be destroyed. But, you know, on the other side of the coin, I was thinking about this the other day because, like I said, there were some people who were extremely upset at me pissing all over Jaceda's Titanium. And it deserves to be pissed all over. Don't get me wrong. But I was thinking about some of the people who like this. And you know, it very well could be just where they are in their journey. Like this may be the first or second fragrance they've ever owned or smelled, or, oh my God, it is fucking horrendous. I mean, that is chemical water to me. Oh, it's fucking horrible. Like, I don't think I could wear it. I think if all my fragrances were stolen and this was all I had, I would just go fragranceless. It's that bad. But, you know, I was thinking like just maybe it's at the point where they are in the journey. Maybe they need to just branch out and smell more. And, you know, you don't know what you don't know is the old saying, right? So it's part of me wants to shit all over them more, but the other part is like, you know, you also don't want to like completely beat somebody down who could potentially grow in the hobby. And, you know, that's what we want. I think we want more people to grow in the hobby. That's why we do this. So I'm torn. I don't know. I'm torn. Teatro alla Scala, my favorite vintage by far. I just recently was sent something by Bexod. And this, smelling it from the cap, I haven't worn it, but this reminded me of Teatro alla Scala. It's called Luciano Soprani. This was marketed for women around the same time as Teatro alla Scala. And man, it is very Teatro alla Scala-esque. Very, very impressive. And again, I've talked about how much I love Teatro alla Scala. I've reviewed it. I've done like a early impression video on it. I've done a comparison video on it. I love Teatro alla Scala. It's one of my all-time favorites. But just going to show like that Luciano Soprano, I had no idea, you know, and I'm a hardcore frag head. Making me jealous with that Oud Taiwan, man. It is phenomenal. Like I am in love. Look at the dent I put in there. It is so good. So good. Oh, like I wore it yesterday as my scent of the day. I almost wore it again. And I was like, let me wear something else just to kind of mix it up. But man, I just want to wear nothing else. That just goes to show how much I love it. I would love a big bottle of this one day. How much alcohol is in our Taiwan? How much alcohol? I have no clue. I know the Oud is like 30%. The worst fragrance videos ranked. Yes, that's right. Aqua de Scandalo by Parfum d'Empire. I've never smelled that. Never smelled that at all. I don't even think I've heard of that. Did you consider making your own fragrance? What would be their style? If a collaboration with which house or perfumer? Man, that's a very tough question. I don't know. I mean, Russian Atom, Antoine Lee. I have no idea, you know. I think, honestly, someone like Eugene set the precedence for something. I mean, I would be happy with this type of perfumery. But I wouldn't want it to be a copy of what Eugene was doing, or I would want to do my own thing. And I would want more references. Like I love the references to the past in stuff like La Douleur Exquise. Like the dry down of this will remind you of Antaeus. The top will remind you of its own thing. You know, the top actually reminded me of Imitation Man the first time I smelled it. And I told Eugene that the very first time I smelled this. I said, dude, have you ever smelled Imitation Man by Amouage? He was like, no. It's like, you have to smell it. And I reviewed it on the channel. But I'm happy with this type of perfumery. Like, I think this is miles ahead of some of the niche stuff that we're getting. And to the folks who wrote it off just because it's a YouTuber brand, shame on you. Shame on you for not, at least, that's like judging a book by its cover, you know? They put out some amazing work. So I would be happy with something like this if I put, but I would want to be involved in the creation of it. And I would unashamedly use fragrances from the past as like a springboard, you know? Everybody click thumbs up on the video and comment. Ramsey deserves 10 times more subs. Thank you, man. The algorithm will notice. Fuck the algorithm. I'm late, but I'm here. Thanks for being here, Jared. Good to see you, man. Congrats on 1,000 episodes. I tried OT a couple of times now, but I can't get over that burn rubber smell. It's repulsive. I like some other ouds from Maurice Ladore. I love that's so you're calling it burned rubber. I called it like a dark smoke, like a charred smoky thing. And I love it. Man, that it's like, imagine you put like a tarp over this burning fire and all this black smoke started to build up, and then you took the tarp off and the black smoke just kind of shot out in like you know, like a billowing black smoke with the green kind of top of the trees, you know, coming over the green top of the trees. That's a good imagery with just little hints of kind of the earthy, mushroomy thing. But yeah, man, hit me up. Maybe I'll buy your bottle. This channel speaks the languages of fragrances. Thank you, Ahmed. Good to see you, man. How do you know if real oud is used? Montal Infinity has oud. No, Montal Oud Infinity does not use real oud. At least I'm not. Well, let me preface that by saying I don't think they use real oud. I've never smelled it. Most of those brands are using an oud accord. Okay, that's just my experience with it. All right, like Tom Ford Oud Wood, you know, Versace Pour Homme Oud Noir, Montal's oud fragrances are. The only way you know is by, well, even trusting your nose sometimes is hard. But if you have smelled stuff like Aries Ladore's work or Bortnikoff's work or Ensar Oud's work, a lot of times you will be able to distinguish the difference between some sort of an oud accord that uses black oud and nor limonol and stuff like that with real oud. You know, it's to a hardcore oud lover, it's night and day. You'll be able to tell. The average person may struggle a little bit more, especially when you get into the higher end stuff, like, you know, Frederick Maul's Promise, right? I don't think there's much real oud in there, maybe a little bit, but it's a big Cypriol accord. Cypriol can give off this earthy kind of characteristic that will smell very much like oud. And so it's just a experience thing, you know. It's just an experience thing. One day, maybe one day, Robert. Did you know there will be a new Frederick Maule? Yes. It's called Hope before Louder kills them. Oh, wait. You said Monardo Frederick Maule. No, I did not know that, actually. I know about Hope, but I have not smelled Hope yet. Though I imagine it would be expensive. Well, I would want to use the best ingredients, so it would be expensive in that sense. But would I price it like Roja's? No, I mean, I wouldn't price it at $1,000. Maybe $9.99. No, I'm just kidding. I think kind of where Eugene priced his is very, very fair. Very, very fair. Although, maybe a Russian Atom collaboration one day. Are you going to review Abbey Rouge Parfum? I've never smelled it. I don't have it. I still haven't even reviewed the original Abbey Rouge. I mean, I'm not really into the newer stuff as much. I'm more into the older stuff, like the original Eau de Toilette from 1965. That's where my love is. This is just absolutely one of the greatest male fragrances ever created, in my opinion. My 2 cents. You know, oh, fuck. It is so classy. I love the rosewood and citrus combination. Oh, and then of course you get that little bit of vanilla. It's like a male version of Guerlain, using that vanillic Guerlainade in the base. So if I'm gonna review an Abbey Rouge fragrance, it would be Abbey Rouge, the Eau de Toilette from 1965 first. And in fact, if I'm going to recommend an Abbey Rouge fragrance, it would be that. The new stuff they're doing, you know, I haven't even smelled it, so I can't talk bad about it. My guess is it's probably going to be closer to something like Abbey Rouge dress code, which I would almost rather review this, to be honest with you. I'm more into the vintage or the discontinued stuff. I really like dress code. This is one of my guilty pleasures because this is really sweet. There's like a in dress code, there's a note of there is a note of praline, which usually I hate praline, but I love kind of the very piercing fresh neroli offset with the beautiful rose. And you can kind of see Abbey Rouge vanilla and bergamot and stuff like that in there, tonka bean and woody notes. You can kind of see the OG hiding a little bit in the background, but this is what I expect the parfum to be more like. This is what I really love, though. So that's my 2 cents. Antaeus is my probably number one. Like, out of all my fragrances, if you said what's your favorite, Antaeus I think is the greatest for me in my taste. But Furio is also right there. I love Furio. I love them both. I like Antaeus. Well, I've done a full review of Antaeus. You can just check out my review. I am absolutely hunting Antaeus. It's more rare than a female Bigfoot at a nudist colony. Well, all right. Hit up Anuj. Maybe Anuj has some bottles, Ange. Hey, Matt. What's up, man? Ram, I went to the scent room in Dallas yesterday and got to try out some scents. Isola Blue, Oligarch, Burlington 1819. Those citruses are no joke. Yeah, it's not bad. They had Zoologist T-Rex, and that was an experience. Yes, T-Rex, actually, if you said, Ramsey, you can have 1 or 2 Zoologist full bottles you don't have. It would be T-Rex, and it would be Sacred Scarab. Those 2 are the ones that I'm really digging at the moment. So apparently the new Mugler for Man is a throwback to the original Amen. Has anyone tried it? Rich Mitch reviewed it, and he said it is shite. Send and Ouds could be in it. Have you got Giacomo de Giacomo? Yes, I do. I have a vintage tester from the greatest little perfume shop in the world, Enchante Perfumes, right there. Bam. So this is not going to exist anymore, though, because Royal Bank Plaza 8650147 Queensquay Terminal is not going to be there. Well, it'll be there, but it won't be an Enchante perfume store because he's going strictly online, from my understanding. So he'll be, just go to Enchante Perfumes and you can buy it that way. Skin suit of an elite, not elite. Over 100 watching. Let's go. Quatrefoil. That's it. Damn, am I that far back on the comments? Holy freak. Thank you, man. Take all my oil money. Leave your love your. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, brother. It's very kind of you, Marius. Very kind. Thank you. 1,000 down. What a milestone. Didn't catch the start of your channel, but looking forward to the next that. Well, you got a lot of old stuff to watch then, Jared. Jerry. What's going on, man? And you're wearing sport cologne. Hell yeah. I am proud to be pumping the sport cologne. You cannot go wrong with this stuff. And even in the Texas heat, it's just amazing. I'm from the future. I really shouldn't have said that. So apparently the guy that orchestrated the opening ceremony got struck by lightning. The Lord. Is that true? If that's true, that is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard in my life. Lagerfeld Cologne Splash version. I finally got it at a good price. Cologne name I'm really enjoying it. Great rec for the price. It is fantastic. That orangey, powdery kind of thing with the tobacco, and the Cologne version, before they went to Lagerfeld Classic, from my experience, uses more of the masculine notes from the past. So it's more oak moss, more tobacco, and all that good stuff. Anuj, thank you, man. So proud of you. Cheers to another 1,000 videos. Thanks, Anuj. I really appreciate it. You got to stick around for another 1,000 videos, homie. Fragcom needs you. Vintage fragrance lovers need you, man. So yes, I am happy. I'm happy you're here with us, brother. Thanks for being here, man. Thank you for the kind donation. You're too kind, man. Too kind. No reapers on this channel, thank God. Tom Ford's Soleil Neige. I don't think I've ever smelled that, Mr. Inglewood. Scent of the day, Samsara EDP. Hell yes. Hell yes. So this is like a 2002 bottle. Like right when they stopped using Mysore Sandalwood. Like my bottle could be either one of the last ones with Mysore Sandalwood or one of the first ones without it. So I'd really like an original Samsara bottle, just to see. But yeah, these older ones are, even this one is head and shoulders ahead of the stuff they're putting out now. The great Anuj. Miss 38 minutes of this. Go back and watch it. Ali, thanks for being here. Good to see you. I like your new thumbnail. It's good stuff. Ali's my Amwaj sugar mama. Thanks for all your hard work and dedication. Thank you, Edmund. Appreciate that, man. You guys are too kind. Appreciate your in-depth and candid opinions on impressions. Well, that's what the channel's supposed to be about, so I'm glad I am delivering. Thank you. Touch of Love Patchouli by Murray and Landman is under. I've never even heard of that, Robert. Have you tried Prin Crisana? You should do a review. I don't think Crisana is one of the ones I've reviewed. I've reviewed a lot of Prin fragrances, to be fair. Crisana is not one of them, though. Oh, wait. It says I have a decant. God knows where. So I have a decant of it, so it will be reviewed one of these days, Dobbs. Favorite discontinued fragrances after 2010. I like focusing on really old vintage, but I have reviewed stuff that is quote-unquote newer. I just showed this one right here, Abbey Rouge Dress Code. This is discontinued. And I actually really like this, although it is very, very sweet and very modern. It's one of my guilty pleasure fragrances. But yes, no, I'll focus. I actually, if you're new to my channel, what I've always said, even from the beginning, is that I go everywhere. So you will hear me talk about, I've done reviews on Coty's Emerald from 1921. I've reviewed brand new sort of artisanal fragrances like Oud Taiwan, which just came out. I've reviewed, cheapies that are $20. I've reviewed expensive stuff, which are $1,000. I mean, I'll go everywhere. There's nowhere that I won't go. I gave a shout out to this guy, El Khalid on Oud Addict. He's not even a brand. Like, you can't even just buy it without actually just going to like his page and clicking buy, on Oud Addict. So, I mean, I'll go everywhere. I'll smell anything. I'll try anything. I'll talk about anything. Most of the stuff I buy with my own money. Sometimes I talk about stuff that brands send me. I shit all over this and the brand sent it to me. But I'll go anywhere in the fragrance game. I'll go. Thank you, man. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate that. Murray and Landman is fairly unknown. I've never heard of them. It's on the list. I've been following your channel for about 2 years, 1,000 videos. Time flies. Yeah, really. Seriously, time flies. That's very, very true. I can't believe how lucky I am for you finding my channel. All the stuff you sent me. Ali sent me this. This was an Ali gift. Beloved Woman, which I absolutely freaking love this fragrance. Oh my God. Now on the full bottle Amouage list, Memoir Woman is right at the top, followed by Overture Woman, followed by probably Royal Tobacco. Even though the guy sent me that fat decant, probably Royal Tobacco. I really enjoy that. Whiskey Reaper, good to see you, man. There is a link to a product in the description of YouTube, I immediately stop watching. Yes. You know, Fragcom, it's funny because the evolution of Fragcom from folks like Mark Robes08 back at the beginning, and then Jeremy, of course, changed it for better or worse, whatever you want to make of it. Seems like he's a bit of a train wreck right now. It's like people can't look away, you know, like they want to look at the train wreck, so they can't look away. But it's come a long way. Fragcom has really changed, and now it's almost turned into this commercialized thing where it's like, feels like sometimes I'll click on some of the videos, you know, that are, I don't know, highlighted on Ode to Jerks or something, just to see what they're making fun of. And I mean, I see why. I mean, some of the videos are rough. It feels like an advertisement. It feels like you're watching like what used to be on late night TV, like after midnight, and it's like paid advertisements, you know. It feels like you're watching like the home shopping channel sometimes, and that's not what Fragcom should be about. I miss the old days of Fragcom, you know. I miss when it was smaller and it was kind of dominated by people who really had a passion for fragrances, and I think that's what people like me and Rich Mitch are kind of trying to bring back. And Eugene, I would include Eugene in that, trying to bring back. Whether we're successful, who knows? But I think I'm very happy with the following that I have. I'm very happy with the amount of work that I put into this, and I'm very happy with the content that I put out. I'm happy with the type of content that I put out. So if I can continue doing this type of content, I'll be happy. And you know, whether we talk about vintage, new, modern, niche, expensive, cheap, artisanal, you know, designer, anything. We'll talk about everything on the channel, but I never want to be the guy pumping some product because they sent me a free bottle, ever. I never want to be that guy. I always want to be my own. I always want my ideas to be mine, not some list from some godless corporation. So glad you're looking after yourself. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will review it. I have a sample apparently. What are the performance? I did a comparison video on that, Jamie. You can check that out. There is a Jubilation 40 comparison video on the channel. Penhaligon Babylon, I quite like. Never smelled it. Tell Ode to Jerks to suck it for the record. Yeah. They sometimes they get a little personal. And a lot of times I don't even like looking because I feel like sometimes it's like a bug. It gets in your head, you know, and then you can't stop thinking about it. I've been made fun of on there. I've been highlighted on there. It's been good. It's been jerk approved, bad. I mean, you know, there were some folks who posted stuff making fun of me, some stuff that was good. I don't really care. I mean, you know, when you put yourself out on the internet, that's what's going to happen. But what I've found is that like-minded people tend to kind of come together, you know? So I feel like, if you're a good fit for somebody, you'll kind of come together. But my channel will never be as large as some of these big channels. It's just not, you know, I'm much more gonna kind of attract the hardcore fragrance lovers who are willing to go into all this detail rather than the guy that wants the newest panty dropper, you know. They're gonna go listen to Jeremy Fragrance all day. So love seeing the dedication. Thank you, Walker. Have you tried Aqua de Parma Colonia Leather? No, I have not. No, I have not, Faisal. With Ram, you can put your gloves down and consume his information and knowledge without thinking he's trying to sell you a bottle, which is instrumental. That is exactly right. That's what I want. Damn it. I will try it, my friend. Only fragrance channel for me, scent of the day. Epic Woman. Ah, yes. Epic Woman. One of my all-time favorite fragrances from Cecile Zarokian. I really think it was one of her earliest works, and I know she had a lot of help from Danielle Morial and Angeline Leperini. So she had a lot of help, but I really also think it's one of her best. And I think it influenced her whole career where she went after that. But I was mentioning Allie sent me some full bottles. She sent me this. She sent me this right here. She sent me this bottle of silver. So these two, Silver and Beloved Woman. And she sent me this recently as well, which I will be reviewing very soon. she sent me her new bottle because she got a vintage bottle of rose incense, Opus 12. So I just reviewed Opus 10 within the last month or two. So Opus 12 is a very interesting creation because it was done by Bruno Jovanovic, who is a very heavy-handed perfumer. But here he's using these sort of lemony, rosy aspects. And it reminds me a little bit of like a niche version of Toy Boy. If you've ever smelled Toy Boy. And so this is, I would say, impressive work. I like it. I like the frankincense. I like the smokiness. There's a drawing ink note in here, as they say. Like, so when I reviewed Opus 10, there was a violin varnish note. And I really, really liked Opus 10. I think I like Opus 10 more than Opus 12, but I'm enjoying getting to know this. And this was a gift from Allie. So, I mean, I have some amazing, amazing subscribers. I mean, what I did to deserve it, who knows? But I'm very blessed to have you guys here on the journey with me. So thank you. Thank you so much. So yes, that was an Allie gift. And you can almost see the rose looks like rose with like drawing ink, like ink, black ink drawn onto it. But it's a very lemony rose, and I really like it. Really, really like it. I've been enjoying Opus 12 so far. Oud Maximus plus Laotian Oud oil. Can't go wrong there, man. Congrats on the milestone. You make some of the GOAT frag content. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Opus 4, very nice. I really liked Opus 4. What do your friends outside of FragCon think of your collecting? Have you got any of them into it? Yes, I have, actually. Some of the guys at work, believe it or not, have been getting into it. There's one guy in particular, Chad. Shout out to you, man. He's been buying. He recently bought Furio. He bought Azaro Actor because I wore it to work one day, and I told him about the prices. And he was like, oh, man, that's not that bad. He got like a 100 ml bottle, I think, of Actor. And he bought Capucci Sang Royale, which is like a 60s version of like a precursor to something like Antaeus. Sang Royale is amazing. That was actually a gift from Armando, I believe. And so yeah, I have gotten some of them into this. I have. Have you tried Phileas? It's on the list. No, I have not. No, I have not. I want it. I would like Phileas. I have a feeling it's going to be my favorite Nina Ricci from the note listing and the time it was released. But yeah, you saying it reminds you of Yatagan on steroids, I think I'm going to love it. But I've never smelled it. Found a 12-pack of Man Amber spray samples. Hell yeah, dude. That, you know, Halston had some amazing stuff. I'm really sad to see them run amok. Arun, welcome. Brut from Fabergé. I do not have a bottle of Brut, believe it or not. That Azure is Madonna. Is Madonna? Mad One? What is that? Massive congrats. Big fan from sunny Dubai. Portrait of a lady for the win. Ah, good stuff, Arun. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. You're going to like it. Have you tried kerosene? I have some samples of some kerosene fragrances. The one that I... So I've got Kerosene Copper Skies here, which is a gift from David, which he sent me a bunch of cigars, and he sent me these little decants, these 5 ml decants. And so Copper Skies is on the list to discuss. But actually, I have yet to do a video on the channel about a kerosene fragrance. It just hasn't come up yet, but it will soon. Copper Skies is going to get the nod soon. That came out in 2011. I think you can still buy it. It's clove, amber, basil, honeycomb, tobacco, and cedar. John Pegg is the perfumer and brand owner of Kerosene. It was one of the first kind of YouTuber brands, if you will. Now we've got a lot that, of course, come out, but it was one of the first. Not so famous YouTuber. What's going on? Thank you. Thanks for the support. Legacy collection version of Azure the other day. Really dig it. Big on the cumin note. Interesting. Yeah, I've got the Legacy collection, so maybe one day we'll do a live stream comparing them. That's awesome, dude. I'm very excited for that, Frank. Very excited to try it. So we've got some Halston reviews. Frank's my Halston connect, man, between Halston 101, the unicorn, and Halston Z, which is discontinued, and kind of their 1990s freshy version. And now he's saying Halston Man Amber, which I heard is really good, but I've never smelled it. I'm Frank's keeping me on the Halston train, man. I got to do some Halston reviews. Congrats on 1,000. Your integrity is very much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, Rome Teb. Appreciate that, man. Thanks for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. I never ask for them, but I'm always grateful when I get them. So thank you. Fischerund is an interesting niche brand for sure. Small house out of Iceland. Number 54 is nice. Never smelled it. Givenchy Gentleman. Yes. Are you wearing this, Allie? I bet it smells amazing on you, by the way. I got Allie into some of these, what would you call them? Staples, you know, like the base blocks of perfume knowledge. And she's getting into things like, if you're getting into things like this because of me and you're buying the proper one with the silver wraparound label, I am doing my job. My job as a, you know, perfume guide, if you will. If that's what I'm influencing you to buy, hell yes. Hell yes. What's up, Dunk? Yo, Dunk. Sloth from Zoologist. I did a Zoologist live stream where I talked about sloth, but I can't remember it. Fellas. Ciao, Duncan. Sicily, it's hot as fuck in California, I bet. It's hot as fuck in Texas, too, man. Peony. You are going to love Chypre Mousse. I love Chypre Mousse. Actually, that whole brand, everything I've smelled from them so far is quality. I meant the best year for Diaghilev before it got butchered. I don't know. I mean, I had some people tell me that their newer bottles are weaker, but I don't know. I can tell you my batch code is shit. I can't even read it. I think it's rubbed off. I have no clue what that says. 5, maybe 4, 9, 3D BH. That's a guess. I don't know. It's really small and rubbed off. But this isn't a super old bottle because it's got Roja's more updated sort of signature like this. The older original bottles of Roja, his signature looked like this. There's a little tip. So you can see it's like written out Roja versus the newer ones have a signature. So this isn't super old, but it is older. I mean, I've probably had this bottle for 5 years now. 4 to 5 years, if I had to guess, somewhere around there. So, but yeah, I reviewed this too. This is H, the exclusive black tier. Love the Perfumer portfolio videos. They make you think about the connections between the perfumers and the development of the perfumer. Let's try to talk, Ramsey. Indeed, I agree. Sloth is a furry fragrance. Smells like hamster cage. It's nice. I never had a hamster, so I don't know how I feel about that. Congrats. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. AR10. Yes. My fave is the P90. Tried it while in Vegas on spring break last year and loved it. Interesting. I don't think I've ever tried the P90. Nice descriptions, Dunk. Need a web connecting perfumes to other perfumes and perfumers to their mentors. Oh, shit, Lily. That's a hell of a recommendation there. That is a hell of a recommendation. I'll have to sleep on that one. Just find a bottle with Roja's name on the side and you're good. Yeah, that's what I heard, that they're doing away with this gold thing on the side. So yes, John, like that of Scandal, which I acquired. Yes, Lily, I love that kind of thing. Dushan, howdy. What's up, Keith? Keith, how are you? Long time no see. Hope all's good with you. watching Shogun and wearing Moth as elite levels of sensory experience. Man, I really, really enjoyed Shogun. Moth is very underrated in the zoologist game. I'll tell you that. I'm going to review this one of these days, but Moth is a little bit of everything. You know, it's got some smoke, some dark resins, and it changes a lot. You know, it's one of those fragrances that I think goes through these different iterations. The perfumer who made it in 2018 is named Inabi Tamu. He's a Japanese perfumer. And I've been very impressed with Moth because it starts off kind of very peppery, and it turns very floral, and then it turns very smoky and oody, and you know, it goes through these different phases, and you know, one phase it feels like it could almost be a Guerlain. Another phase it feels like it could be a modern oud fragrance. Another phase it goes through the smokiness. I mean, it goes through all of these different layers. So yeah, very impressed with Moth. Shogun is fantastic. Authenticity and representation matters. Agreed. I was very impressed with Shogun, and I don't watch many shows because I'm put off by a lot of the modern propaganda. Like, I just can't. You know, if my antlers pick up even a little bit of the modern BS, I'm done. I'm not watching it. Shogun kept me enthralled. I'm okay. Thanks, Keith. Beaufort, London. Iron Duke has gunpowder. Yes. Yes, it does. But Iron Duke is on a completely another level. You know what it reminded me of? Iron Duke reminded me a little bit of this weird kind of take on Royal Tobacco. Or Royal Tobacco was a weird kind of take on this. But this had like soap. And the gunpowder accord here feels like cannon fire or like tank fire. This is a very artistic fragrance. If you like what Christopher Chong was doing at Amouage, you need to try some of these Beauforts. They're very, very impressive. Very impressive work. Gunpowder smells like algae, but tastes like black pepper. Leave Ashton alone. He's just securing the future of his family. University ain't cheap, and not getting any cheaper. I can't blame him for what he's done. I mean, he started a channel at the right time. He had the growth. He, you know, talked about fragrances that were popular. And I mean, you know, I can't imagine what he's making off of his channel. He's probably doing very, very well. And then not to mention the collaborations that he's getting. And, you know, I know there are some fragrance brands that pay people to talk about a fragrance. Let's say, I won't take that. I would never take money directly to say something about a fragrance. I've never done that. I never, ever plan to, but I know that is a thing out there. They'll not only send the free bottle, but they'll also say, here's some cash. You know, that gets a little slippery, but I know there's a lot of folks making a lot of money. Regards, best sir. Thank you, kid. Good to see you, kid. Love your name in Arabic. Thank you. Ramsey the Great would be a hell of a fragrance. It would be. Ramathon doesn't have the same flair to it, so the Ram pronunciation stays. Yes, that's right. I'm going to Cabela. Is going to be a good day. Got to get some black powder for the musket. 54 cal. Some black powder. Francis Kirkjohn is really a master perfumer. His work is not for me most of the time, but he has a way to touch people. So many hits. It's like Elvis. Maybe it's not for you, but the genius is there. I get that. Yeah. You guys might get your 6-hour stream. Yes. What percentage of your collection have you gotten your nose on? What percentage of your collection have you gotten I mean, everything except for like the really new stuff that just came in. Like this, I haven't had a chance to smell yet. This, which I just unboxed a day or two ago, I haven't had a chance to smell yet. But other than that, I mean, I wear my collection is to be worn, and you know, it's impossible to wear everything, but I try and wear my fragrances. Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you so much. Is Borneo better than Coromandel? Yes, for me. Now, there's some folks who disagree, but if you're asking my opinion, yes, I would take Borneo 1834. Yes. Yes, I would. Good afternoon, fellow frag heads. I am vintage. What kind of basement? A Pittsburgh basement is most likely musty, complete with standalone toilet. Yeah, we don't have basements in Texas because the soil here is impossible to cut through. I mean, you would have to like pay a separate company to do a job for you, and it would probably cost you as much as the house to create a proper basement. So they just don't do them here. But I was trying to think of my grandmother's basement up in Rochester, New York, and I remember like old toy train sets going around, and old Christmas stuff, and just old musty is a good way to put it. Good evening, afternoon. What's up, Tim? Have you seen the 1,000-yard shooting competition in Texas? Some use 7.62. Nice. No, I have not. I can't trust any story behind the fragrances anymore. In my opinion, they're just lures to make them seem more like fairy tales, like to sell them. Yes, some of those stories are just horrendous. I have an Oud CO2 extract that smells like lacquered wood, but I'm not sure for a musty basement smell. Yeah, it's a tough one. Hola, Tim. Scent of the day, Sand by the Perfume Factory of the Bahamas. Never heard of that in news, but I assume it smells like sand. Although Tabak Dore and the Night I disliked, I did like Aaron Terrence Hughes Tabak if it can be found. Aaron Terrence Hughes is not a brand for me. Ever thought about creating your own perfume? Yes, maybe one day. We'll see. Maybe when I get some more subscribers. Diaghilev, but very nearly went with War and Peace. We are Diaghilev, Scent of the Day brothers. Max, very well done. Very well done, my friend. Basement Scent, Zombie by Fabled Fragrances. Discontinued, never smelled it. Phantom Bune, never smelled it. Maybe Zrina Dark Ride, never smelled any of that. Favorite eucalyptus fragrance. Ooh, maybe Royal Mayfair. I've done a comparison video between Royal Mayfair and what it previously was called, and which was called Windsor. So I've done a comparison video between Windsor and Royal Mayfair. Number 1 was my signature in the 5th grade. Boss Baby. That is a hell of a scent for a 5th grader, by the way, Dunk. You were literally walking around smelling like a boss. Smelling like an absolute boss, man. For 10,000 subs, do a video about 100 favorite ranked notes. My God. I still like Tuscan leather. I like Tuscan leather too. Much better than ombre leather. I like Tuscan leather better than ombre leather as well. Hope you're having a good weekend, Tim. Basement equals anything unique luxury. You mean because they're so bad they belong in the basement? Or where were you going with that? What's going on, David? I was just showing off one of your decants that's on the list to be discussed. Copper Skies. Someone was asking if I've ever reviewed a kerosene fragrance on the channel. I like Ashton too. He's good at being an entertainer. Don't hate on gents. There's about to be a bit of an egg and a spoon race in Paris. Oh, man. Anuj, keep up the great work. Yeah, man. We all love Anuj. He is a staple of Fragcom. Nina Richie Phileas. Someone just shouted that out multiple times earlier, man. Thanks. Sweet, but not too sweet. Oh, man. That is awesome, Sweet Milk. That is awesome. I wish I can get my head around Tuscan leather. If only it wasn't so ridiculously powerful. It is very powerful. It is. I think of it like maybe playing pool in a dingy pool hall, cigarette burns on the couch. It's a little smoky. It's like a bad boy scent, like maybe you're wearing a leather vest, something like that, riding a motorcycle. I'm a fan. Dunk, Anuj, watch out for Eugene at your store. Sweet Milk. Carlo Corinto works in this Tejas heat. Never smelled it, Dunk. Got to try out Promise yesterday as well at Neiman Marcus. Holy shit, you weren't kidding about the strength. That apple note lasted 5 hours before I could even smell the Ciprial and Patchouli. If it touches your clothes, you're done. Like if Promise, if I like to spray my neck, and so if I'll spray Promise here and a little bit even drips down and touches this shirt, This shirt is now a Promise shirt. Like I have to wear Promise next time I wear this shirt because it is so unbelievably strong. It will last multiple washes. You'll be smelling Promise for months. It is crazy. We are waiting for your decant of Guerlain's Cuir de Russie here. Man, Dushan, you do not let things go, brother. I would love to smell Guerlain's Cuir de Russie, but I know it's super expensive. I'm not big on fresh, really. Bois Mysterio, I love, as well as Beaufort London, Iron Duke, Amouage Opus Royal Tobacco, Polo Green Vintage. I do not own. Okay. I got my Epona sample. Looking forward to a full wear. Ah, yes, you're gonna dig it. Reviews coming soon on Abdul Samad Al Qureshi Attars and Oud perfumes. I'm not that big on that house. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not too big on Abdul Samad Al Qureshi, although I do have a fragrance from them that I really like called Safari Extreme. Safari Extreme is good. I like Safari Extreme. But other than that, there's not much from the house that I'm really excited about. Skin on Skin is mediocre. Never smelled it. Not a fan of MFK, but his work he did at El Saab is actually pretty dang. Never smelled any of those El Saabs. I'll send a decant of that one to Ramsey. Good afternoon from Lakewood, Florida. What's going on, Kevin? Scent of the day, Creed. Which Creed? I've got Bordnikoff's Moss Cologne coming in tomorrow. Very excited to wear. Let me know what you think. I've reviewed that on the channel, I think. Your surname is Glorious and Queer d'Ange. Alex Jones, InfoWars uses this quote in his opening shows. MFK just single-handedly offed Dior. Yeah, I have not been impressed with what I've been seeing. Reynard Kipling. Radyard. If for Women was released in 1990, still trying to find a bottle. Congrats. You should be proud of your very honest, high-quality channel. Fan from Copenhagen. Thank you, Keon. Appreciate that, man. Thanks for hopping on to say that. Trust me, Duncan, I know poetry very well. Enchante is the best museum in Toronto. I like Jonathan Swift, patriotic poetry. Congrats. What would be a Bukowski poem sent be like? Oh, a poem off. Dushan? Scent of the night is Mercedes-Benz Club Black Extreme. Never smelled it. First live stream I was able to watch live at least for 10 minutes. Congrats, Ram, on 1,000. I appreciate all your hard work and time. Thank you. Thank you, David. Thanks for contributing, man. And, allowing things like the Monogram review, the just most recent one, Mississippi Medicine, would not have happened without your kindness. So thank you, man. Even the box of titanium, it is fucking ugly as sin. Maybe the only good thing they've got going for it is the magnetic cap. The magnetic cap. But even the cap is fucking cheap feeling as fuck. It's like, feels like I could crush it with my fingers. But it is magnetic. So, but God, it's so bad. I wish there was, oh my God. I mean, it's like smelling Skittles that were like melted in the Texas sun. Just all these different disgusting flavors merged into one sweet pie of grossness. It looks cheap. I'm sure it smells horrendous. Horrendous. Son is ready to ride the tractor, so I'll have to watch later. Thanks, David. Thanks, man. Taboo Vintage by Dana is pretty good for its uniqueness. Has a root beard-like note. Yeah, I like Taboo. I've got a couple drops of the OG hardcore vintage, thanks to Angie. But yeah, it's good. I like this type of perfumery. Shalimar is my go-to, though. Music of the night. Bizette Carmen, performed by Alina Garanka. Not familiar. Happy for you, man. Thanks, John. Anubis does have some similarities to Javois Les Jeux Sans Fin. I don't know if I would agree with that. I have to sleep on that one. I don't know about that. I want a cumin-centric fragrance by Jean-Claude Elena with Ramsey's direction. A cumin-centric fragrance. Well, I mean, Jean-Claude Elena loves using cumin, but he uses it very lightly, let's say. I would just tell you to go buy Eau de Hermes, the one from the early 50s by Edmund Rudnitska, Jean-Claude Elena's master, if you will. The collab with Adam, that beaver tail oil for her wearable perfume would be great. Absolutely love my Oud Taiwan as well, but judging from turnaround the gray market, we are in the minority by far. I mean, whatever, you know, I think opinions change as time goes on. So, I mean, if I could pick up a bottle for cheap because someone doesn't like it, hit me up. I'll be down to pay a couple $100 for a 30 mil. Hello. Careful. Can't verify, but in my opinion, allegedly should be used. Yes. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that? They got to watch the whole live stream because, yes, in my opinion, allegedly. Everything I say about anything ever is in my opinion and allegedly. How's that? That should legally cover me. So fuck you, brands. Love Abbey Rouge as a woman. Yes, I like the EDT much better than the EDP personally. That's just my 2 cents. Couldn't stand the new Abbey Rouge parfum. The EDT is head and shoulders. Ah, really? Yeah, I had a feeling it would be like that. My newest pickup, Terre Hermes Parfum. Loving it. I like the parfum too. I would like to smell some of those other Terre flankers that I've never smelled, like Eau Givre and all those others. I like Laui, but I wish it went a little bit more bitter. Anything you'd recommend in that vein? Bitter? I don't know. I got to sleep on that. Bitter. The blind sniffing isn't going to start itself. Thank you for your rec on Halston Z14. Picked it up from Walmart, $17. And my wife loves it. I consider it a great layering fragrance, better for winter. Yeah, just wear it on its own. I think it's amazing. Wait, which blinds? You're going to send me a blind sniff, right, Noah? I haven't received it yet, I don't think. I haven't received it yet. The first impression sniff test isn't going to start itself. So, what are you talking about? Can't wait for Sherwood Poseidon. What's your favorite Sherwood? That would probably be Ambrosia. Ambrosia is my personal favorite. But I really, really, like if you said, Ramsey, you could pick up one bottle of a Sherwood fragrance that you don't own, it would have to be Paradise. Paradise fucking blew me away, man. I loved the coffee, the ouds he used in there. I loved it. Go watch my review of Paradise. You know, those did not get very much play view-wise. I understand why. You know, a lot of them you can't get anymore and all that stuff. But, man, Paradise is one that I would love to own, and I wish I had a bottle. Secretions Magnifique, my signature scent in warm weather. Never smelled it, Robbie, believe it or not. I wore Giorgio Beverly Hills, Giorgio for men, and so many loved it. It's very underrated, at least the vintage. I agree, Robert. 100% agree. The newer bottles kind of look, juice looks kind of green. The older ones look like this honeyed color. Oh, fuck. It is phenomenal. And you can draw a straight line from this in the 70s to this in the 80s, I think. And then you can continue drawing that line to Luciano Pavarotti and then Moss Brex by Tom Ford, which I reviewed on the channel. I have not smelled Poseidon yet. I have not smelled Poseidon. It's on the list. Yins, enjoy the rest of the party. Thanks for the discourse education as always. Thank you. Thoughts on Jazz? Prices are insane. I reviewed it on the channel. Yeah, I reviewed it. It's a amber. It's kind of like an amber fougere, but there's a very interesting tobacco dry down. Go watch my review. It is it's a very thorough vintage Hall of Fame review on Jazz. I grabbed this just in case someone brought it up. But yeah, I love, if you like fragrances like Guerlain's Heritage, okay? If you like Heritage, I think you'll like something like Jazz. These are, you know, late 80s, early 90s, just signature scent fragrances for me. Is the room you're sitting in air conditioned? I'm in Texas, And I keep my house around 70 degrees. I put it on about 67 when I go to sleep. So my air condition is nonstop running. Because it's like 100 degrees outside. If it wasn't air conditioning, I'd be dripping sweat right now. Is it worth searching high and low for vintage Chanel Cuir de Russie, or should I just get a bottle? Yes. No. The two aren't even. I did a comparison video on the channel, believe it or not, between Cuir de Russie and Great Britain. They're not even in the same ballpark. Roja calls Great Britain Russian leather, but Cuir de Russie and Great Britain are their own totally separate thing. So yeah, I would go. I would try to find. I would try to find an older bottle of Cuir de Russie. You don't have to. You don't have to go this old and get the Eau de Cologne. I also love the Eau de Toilette. Anything in the Eau de Toilette or Eau de Cologne, you're good. The modern Eau de Parfum is good too. It's just much more floral, you know? So it doesn't have what the vintages have. Oh, fuck. You talk about a signature scent, man. Please do more blind sniff. Well, people have to send me the stuff to do the blind sniff. Like, folks set it up. You know, I can't set up my own blind sniff or else I'd know what was what. So our good friend Noah has said he's going to be sending me a blind sniff soon. So that should be fun. Go for Cuir de Russie. Van Cleef and Arpels Midnight in Paris is maybe my favorite discontinued scent. Really? That's interesting. I've got a bottle. I'll review it one of these days. It's one of those pre-Olivier Pols taking over the in-house perfumer of Chanel job that he did. He did some amazing stuff like Dior Homme and Midnight in Paris. I thought the brand was stupid for not, you know, continuing to pull on that theme. They could do Midnight in London, Midnight in Taiwan, Midnight in Texas. All kind of stuff they could have done. But resale prices, though, yeah. Interlude Woman, don't forget that, Ram. Yes, Interlude Woman. Yes, sorry, it took me a second. Yes, on my wish list to own Amouage. Yes, Interlude Woman, Overture Woman, Memoir Woman. Those are the top three. Yeah, it's just them rambling to make you buy the product. Yes, and not even good rambling either. What I do is good rambling. They ramble about bullshit. You just need to learn how to watch them. Memoir Woman is one of the best gothic scents I've ever tried. It is really, really good. With Sebastian, I know when he is selling and when he is really passionate about something, but that came after years of watching him. It should not be like that. Yes. Still yet to try Memoir Woman, but Memoir Man, now that stuff is brilliant. Yes, it is. It's not even with fragrance reviews, but just any type of electronic device I want to buy. Nobody is to be trusted anymore. That is damn true about everything. Nobody is to be trusted. You have to earn my trust now. Otherwise, it's sad that but the way it is nowadays, you instantly get put into the bullshit pile unless you prove yourself otherwise, you know. Tango by Mask Milano. Tango, I reviewed Tango. That's a lovely rose. Thank you. Contrarian should be your fragrance name. My fragrance name. Well, I already have a fragrance name. It's Ram, but Contrarian could be it could be a name of one of my fragrances. I like that. I like Contrarian. The pronunciation is Bruno Jovanovic. His surname is from my country. That's awesome. Yeah, buddy. Eugene, what's up, man? Got the Quatrefoil on for you. Excited to see what you come up with next. Thanks for the inspiration. Thank you for being here seldomly often. Hi, Sandra. Hi, everyone. Glitch, what's up, man? Good to see you. Scent of the day, Oud de Grande on this 101-degree Oklahoma day. That's what's up. Oud de Grande's an amazing jasmine. Jasmine and Thai Oud. It's like 50% Thai Oud or something. What's going on? Greetings. I just arrived. The real one. You were here earlier. You just re-arrived. I give Rich plenty of videos idea. He'll never do them. I should give them to you instead. Rich, are you wasting Lily's amazing video ideas? Shame on you, sir. Congrats, Rams. Thanks for 1K more. Scent of the day, Chinese Oud. I love Chinese Oud. Pepper at the top, honey, iris florals in the heart, and smoky resins in the back. And it still smells like the interior of a crashed bug. And the interior of a crashed bug. I was thinking like a moth that flew into a flame, but yeah, I like it. Love Chinese Oud. Me too. Congrats and blessings. Thank you, Coop. Appreciate the support, man. Big bro. Don't knock the new Abbey Rouge. It's really freaking good. I've never smelled it, so. But I'm assuming it's going to be a lot more like this than it is like this. I mean, just from where Guerlain is going. It's not even Guerlain's fault. It's really Jean-Paul Guerlain's fault for allowing LVMH to get their tentacles around the brand. I opened YouTube to find your video mentioning Bois 1920 and found your live. Which samples to buy? Well, thanks for being here. Which samples from Bois 1920? Vetiver Ambrato, Real Patchouli, and there's another Bois 1920 I really like called Extreme, although it's discontinued, so you can't get samples. But Bois 1920 Extreme. Bois 1920 Extreme is kind of like a take on an Amber Fougere. So if you like things like Guerlain's Heritage, Escada Pour Homme, discontinued Escada Pour Homme. But even though this is discontinued, this kind of plays in that ballpark. But this is really good. Just no one talks about it. Really good, though. Those are my favorites. Sushi Imperial is not bad, too. If you like Opium Pour Homme, Sushi Imperial is not too shabby. It's got a big dose of leather in it. Okay. But I'm sure it's sweet and modern. Whoops. I clicked something. I actually love the Abbey Rouge. I actually love the Rouge Privé of Abbey Rouge. Definitely recommend trying Force Majeure from Jack Bogart. It's very underrated. Never smelled it. I know of it, but I've never smelled it. Promise is good, though. Musk Ravageur I prefer. Yeah, I like Musk Ravageur. I've got a vintage matte cap bottle, which is really good. I'll review this one of these days, or maybe do a comparison video. I think I've got some of the modern juice as well. I like Musk Ravageur. Actually, I think all of those Frederick Malls are going to be classics, you know. And that once he's gone, I think people are going to look back to the days of things like Rose and Queer, things like... you know, L'Eau d'Hiver, which if you like vintage Guerlains, you have to try L'Eau d'Hiver. Someone was asking about Jean-Claude Elena fragrances earlier. L'Eau d'Hiver is really inspired by Après Londe, but it's amazing if you like things like Geranium Pour Monsieur. I mean, I think a lot of folks are going to look back on what Frederick Malle created and just, I really think it's going to be highly sought after in the future. Parfum de la Therese, sorry, Les Parfums de Therese, the fragrance that was supposed to be a bespoke fragrance for Edmund Rudnitska's wife. That, you know, if you like some of those old Dior's from back in the day, like Diorella, for example, you'll find some similarities to, sorry for the terrible lighting, but Diorella. You'll find some similarities to Les Parfums de Therese. And I am surrounded in fragrances because every time I take one out, I just set it down. Real Patchouli is awesome. Very green. Yes, it is. A Piece Marine. Ah, that's a great shout. You know, I've never smelled that. It's like an aquatic take on Eau de Hermes, eh? Yes, you did preface your statement, but it was almost forgotten. Just a gentle reminder. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Allegedly, bitches. Which perfumer do you think had the biggest influence on fragrance overall ever? Edmund Rudnitska, maybe? I mean, Edmund Rudnitska influenced Pierre Bourdon and Jean-Claude Elena. Those were his big pupils. But he also trained his son, Michel Rudnitska, who made a fragrance for Frederick Mall called Noir Peace, and that is I've done a comparison video on that one as well. But I love the Guerlains. You know, the whole family, all the Guerlains. Francois Coty, you know, invented the modern Chypre. God, it's tough because I mean, I mean, there's so many. It's impossible to pick one, but I think those would be the main highlight ones. Oh, there you go. Coty, Guerlain, Rudnitska, Bernard Chant. Yes, Bernard Chant's a great addition. Thank you, Dushan. Parquet. Paul Parquet. I don't know much of his work, believe it or not. The lady that made Bandy, Germaine, what's her name? Her name is Germaine Cellier. Those are like the Mount Rushmore. Yes, they are. Changed my mind. Scent of the day. Zeno. Max Sultan Pasha has the original bottle of Parquet's Fougere Royale. That's cool. Ram, are you into pomades? If so, which one? I'm a barber. I notice your hair is always shiny. I haven't bought one in forever because I use such a small amount, but I think it's just like some bedhead product. Some blue bedhead product. Couldn't even tell you what it's called. And hairspray. I love that Rich Mitch turns on his AC at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. British summer. I know you tried Chypre #1 from Darien Allen. Have you tried Darien? No, I have not tried Darien's Fougere yet. I'm absolutely obsessed with it lately. It leans more classic, just like Chypre #1. As far as like a modern creator who makes stuff that smell vintage and classic, really, Darien Allen stuff is impressive. So I definitely wanted a house to dive into. We can't handle it, Lily. Appreciate your time and dedication. Thank you. Thank you, Mohammed. Appreciate that, man. We're Vikings. Is that one I should watch or something? Just kidding. I know you girls are always cold. Nobody in the UK has air conditioner. Well, it's not 100 degrees for 9 months out of the year there either. Thank you. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. You're too kind. We have fragrance fridges. My Samsung toothbrush just asked for my social security number. Give it to them. They're trustworthy. Best not cool the house with it. Zeno is a good scent for gun shopping. Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down, Dunk. It's too bad you don't live closer, man. It's too bad you had to live on the other side of Texas. You have a fragrance fridge? I do not even own, and I live in France. You don't own a fridge? Or you mean you don't have a fragrance fridge? I'm making my own Osmotec, Sandra. Life goals. Yes, that's it. I want my own Osmotec. That's a great way to put it. Blonde 1920 Extreme is like a niche Zeno. Yes, it is. Yeah, that's a good shout. Compare them, Ramsey. Yeah, I can see that. But I also think that Heritage was inspired by Zeno because Michel Almerac, who made Zeno, said they wanted to use a Shalimar-like base in Zeno. So there's a whole article on it on Fragrantica, actually. And so the fact that a Guerlain base was put in Zeno and then Heritage came out, which has some similarities to Zeno, makes perfect sense. But hope that unlike the Osmotec, your fragrances are worn. That's right. Point is to wear them. I can visit that Osmotec. Lovely. Thanks. Hello, hello. Hey, peeps. Beloved Man. I reviewed that on the channel, I believe, and that is a fantastic fragrance for the heat. Sometimes 3 times a day. Thanks for the tip. My scent of the day is Iberian Leather by Memo. No, I don't believe so. I did a Memo live stream, but it's not a house that I'm too excited about, to be honest with you. Looks amazing. I am the same. I mean, what is the point of owning that many scents if you don't use them? That's right. Use them up. What's your oldest fragrance scent, Genie? What year? Rose and Queer is great. It got panned, so buy now. Is it officially panned? Damn. Let me see what Parfumo says. Rose and Queer. It says it's still being marketed. So either they haven't updated it yet or it is not panned. But I do really one of my favorite geranium scents is Rose and Queer. I know it says Rose and Queer, but there's not. I think there is a little bit of a sleight of hand by the great Jean-Claude Elena because there's not very much queer. And the rose in here smells very geranium-y. And at the time, you got to remember, he was playing with things like equipage geranium and stuff like that. So geranium was big on his mind. And I like how perfumers pull on that thread, you know? Never heard you mention True Dawn Aphalie. Never smelled it. Sorry. Never smelled it. I own Rochas Femme. Should I go for Mitsuko? No, it's not a redundancy at all. No. I mean, those are two of the all-time greats. You could have just those two in your collection and you'd be better off than 99% of the bull crap most people hype on YouTube nowadays. Abbey Rouge Privé is great. Never smelled it. Prin's hand is quite heavy on using cumin and a million other spices. Gosh, I love Le Parfum de Thérèse. Yes, it's very, very good. Very good. My 1980s bottle of Eau Sauvage. I got a decant of vintage noir piece. Very good. Have you tried Acqua di Parma Colonia Leather? No. Hence the profile pic. That makes sense. Rudnitska for sure. That is not even a question. Given to the respect to the Guerlain and Coty family, but it's not even a competition. Rudnitska is looking at nature. The others were looking at molecules. Interesting. Back to the Ask Me Anything. Do you have a favorite dessert? Would you wear it as a fragrance? God damn, Lily, you are asking some good questions. My favorite dessert. I'm a big custard fan. So, I'm a big custard fan. I'm trying to think of like an all-time favorite. I'm a big souffle fan, but it's extremely difficult to make. I actually go to a restaurant that's run by a guy who, did you know that they had like a cooking Olympics kind of thing? Well, he competed for America in the cooking Olympics. He's getting ready to retire soon because he's had this place for like 40 years. But it's an awesome little restaurant, and he runs it himself. Well, not himself, but it's like his place. It's not like a chain. And they make the most amazing souffles, you know, like white chocolate, raspberry kind of, you know, you can, and they're so fluffy. And oh God, I love a good souffle. But they're a bitch to make and make correctly anyways. But yeah, custard, souffle, ice cream. I'm a huge ice cream fan. And I'm also a very, I'm a person who is very routined, right? It's like if I eat ice cream tonight, I will then want to eat ice cream forever. Like seriously, like that's it. Now I'm just a man that eats ice cream, which is very scary because I have to be very careful because if I, like, let's say we go and gamble. So let's say Duncan and I hit WinStar and go to the casino. Well, now I'm just a guy that gambles. That's just what I do, right? I am a very addictive personality. So I really have to be careful with what I do as I sit around with 1,000 fragrances around me. But yeah, so like, for example, the ice cream thing, if I let myself, I'll just eat ice cream every night, which is not good because then I'll get fat. So what I do is just avoid stuff. I just stay away. Like, you know, some of my buddies, they can have like a cigarette if they're out now and then. I can't. Like if I smoke one cigarette, I'm a smoker. You know what I mean? So I have to really be careful with what I do. But I love ice creams. I love souffles. I love custards. Would I wear them as dessert or would I wear them as a fragrance? I don't like sweet fragrances though. That's the thing. I have a sweet tooth. I like sweet desserts. I like sugar. Like when I drink tea, I put a lot of sugar in it. Put sugar in half and half and all that stuff. I like sugar, but I don't like to smell like sugar, if that makes sense. Rudnitska was an artist. Agreed. That's one of my vintage minis of it. I have more Eau Sauvage than anything else in the full body line. So Eau Sauvage is your all-time favorite because I was never a fan. So this bottle came from 2002, I believe, or 3. I think it's a 2002 or 3. I can't remember. It's older. You know, it's got the box looks like the box in your thumbnail, Scent Genie. Okay. But when I wear this, and I've worn this a handful of times as my scent of the day, but when I wear this, I just want to reapply constantly. Like every hour or two, I want to reapply the damn scent. It doesn't give me the hit that I really want, you know? And part of me is curious because I know Edmund Rudnitska loved using some of the, you know, cumin-like notes. Like, for example, you get little hints of cumin in Roche Femme, right? But it's almost non-existent here, even in a vintage that's 20 plus years old. Now, maybe you got to go 30 or 40 years old to really get it, but a citrusy scent like Eau Sauvage worries me going back that far because you wonder, are the citruses going to turn, you know? So, yeah, but I would like to think there's more cumin and more animalic touches in the older stuff. Ernst Bow, yes, agreed. Are you going to do an updated vintage? This is not a top 10. Maybe. Let me sleep on it. I got a lot of video ideas coming. Hi from Bulgaria. What's up, man? Thanks for joining. Quite the collection. Monsieur Dior would be proud. What's Ramsey's Rushmore of perfumers? Definitely Jean-Paul Guerlain. We already mentioned Edmund Rudnitska. He's got to be on there. What did we say? Bernard Chant. Bernard Chant would have to be on there. And, you know, that last one or two spots would be probably Coty would have to be on there because of what he gave to the industry. And then, I mean, depending on which way you wanted to go, you could either put a Pierre Bourdon, you could put a Jean-Claude Elena, you could put a Carlos Benaim. I mean, you could put a lot of those guys on one of the last spots, but that would be a tough one. I don't know. That's a tough one. But I think the mainstays would be Bernard Chant, Edmund Rudnitska, Jean-Paul Guerlain. I mean, if you could just put all the Guerlains in there as one, that would be, I think, fair. Because Jacques Guerlain, and they deserve for things like Shalimar and Le Bleu and all that stuff. Ernst Bow should not be left out. That's a good point. Do you think Kuros will always be in production? No, not at all. Not with the way YSL's going. No. Imitation Man, I had an eye on it, but your review sold me. That's awesome. What do you think? Do you love it? I love Imitation Man. Greetings from Germany. First time here. Scent of the night. Hot here. Rose's Burlington. It's really interesting citruses in that. I'll review that one of these days, but thanks for being here, Dennis. Good to see you. Welcome to the Ram Frag fam. Vintage Guerlain Derby. You can't go wrong there, man. I love Derby. Got Bortnikov Triad after I watched your review and how you described Bortnikov's work with florals. It's 100% worth it. One of the best rose oud combos. Thanks, my friend. Thank you. Glad to hear it. Triad is right there on the top of my Bortnikov wish list. Like if you said, Ramsey, you can have one Bortnikov that you don't own, Triad might be the one I would go with. I really enjoyed it. Last current L'Oreal version, of course, was produced in mass quantity, enough stock worldwide to last years, even if they stock production now. It's a good point, Anuj. Anuj brings up a great point there. And it seems like every time a new mass production batch is produced, they lower that Animalis quantity a little bit more. So, yes. Is it any good? What I meant is, how does it compare to the older? Still waiting for your review of Naxos. I did a live stream of Surgeoff, and I think I talked about Naxos. I don't know if a full review will be coming anytime soon. It's quite different from the older versions. Yes. Keep one. Heritage Bellamy. Bellamy. Bellamy would just be the one I would keep, but those are all basically like top 10 fragrances for me. Balenciaga Poro maybe just outside, but it's, let's say, top 15. You know, it's impossible, but I would just, Bellamy's the one of those three in the top 3 for me. Eau Sauvage is the best citrus fragrance ever, period. You can walk into a Dior shop and get that thing for $100 and it's still going to blow your mind. See, it didn't blow my mind. That's the thing. I mean, I get I get it, but it didn't blow my mind. My very first fragrance, so I remember when I was a kid, my old man bought me a bottle of Cool Water in the early 90s. No, mid 90s. I remember I had one of those bottles of Nautica with the radiation green or blue juice. Nautica cologne from 1992. That was probably my first cologne, Nautica cologne from 1992. And honestly, I haven't smelled it since. Like, I had a bottle as a kid, but I haven't smelled it since. So probably a combination of those two. And then I started wearing Issey Miyake's oh man, Issey Miyake Low Dissy from 1994. I started to wear that. That was like the fragrance I wore all throughout college and stuff like that. Low Dissy. I had a girlfriend who loved that on me, and so I started to wear that Low Dissy. And then that's really after that. Once I used up Low Dissy and I really started to get into when I had a job, when I had a real job out of college and stuff like that. That's when I discovered Aventus in like 20. Well, that's not true because I started to wear Burberry fragrances after that. So I started to wear like Burberrys and stuff like that in between. I bought a lot of Burberrys, Burberry Brit Rhythm, all that stuff, which are good starter fragrances, you know. But once I bought Aventus in 2012, everything changed. Like, it was like, this is where I wanted to start to go into the niche realm. That's when I started to buy all the Amouages, the Creeds. That's when I discovered the higher end stuff. And I just assumed if it's expensive, it has to be better than Burberry or whatever the hell I'm wearing, right? And on one accord, I was right. On another hand, not so much, because there's a lot of stuff that's super cheap that is just amazing. Take this, for example. You can get this for $30 for 100 mil. I mean, Encre Noir is one of the greatest vetivers I've ever smelled. I love that earthy, you know, just dank vibe Encre Noir gives off. And so by my strategy of only buying the expensive stuff, I would have left out Encre Noir. And so there is there's just a lot in the fragrance game to go through, you know. There's a lot to get to know. But that lemon accord is just to die for. Yeah, I don't know. It's more mossy and dense, touch of leather. I love the cumin note, but it's not prominent even in the older bottles. Okay, interesting. Drawing that line between skin and scent. Love the way he used cumin and leather accords. Yeah, he was a master, no doubt about that. Well, I'm a Raiders fan, so I always pick the Raiders. All right. And I mean, Kansas City winning all these Super Bowls is like a straight nightmare for me as a Raider fan. So I'm really hoping that Antonio Pierce gets us back to glory. But yeah, man, I'm. Let's just say it's been a rough 25 years to be a Raider fan. Do you actually have a top 3 fragrances ever? Yeah, I did a top 100. The top 3 was Koros, Bellamy, and Antaeus. Those were the top 3. You have a chance to try Bortnikov Musk Cologne. Have you tried Creed Vintage? I have not tried Vintage Tabaron. Vintage Tabaron's been on the list forever. I've been wearing this for a while. And actually, oh, fuck. Maybe it's not here. Aha. So this is Tabaron Millésime, but Vintage Tabaron, no. I've been wanting, that's been on my wish list forever. That's a true, proper unicorn. This is my second bottle of this, by the way, though. I ran through an entire 75 mil and got another one because I really like the gingery aspects. This is a very unique tobacco, Tabaron Millésime. But Vintage Tabaron, no. But I hear that it smells a lot like a fragrance I highlighted earlier in the video, which was this Tabac Doré, or Tabac Vert, sorry. Tabac Vert. So yes, my 2 if I could have 2 tobacco fragrances in my collection that I don't own, it would be Bortnikov Tabak Dore and Creed's Vintage Tabaron. Those would be the 2 I would add. Oh, fuck. This is really good, though. This is really good. Gray flannel, my first fragrance at 12 years old. Holy cow. Like if I was wearing insecticide, still love it. I love gray flannel. I think gray flannel is very it's complex, you know. It's very there's a lot of moving parts to it. Low Dissy current form is still good. Floral, yuzu, gorgeousness. Thing is that composition is a bit overused. If you smell it before you know it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Holy shit. Are we at the end of the comments? I don't believe it. Try Lockhart's pomades. They're from Michigan. It's like using artisanal fragrances instead of designer. Also, he does some really interesting smells like fire and brimstone. Lockhart's. Let me look this up. Lockhart's pomade. All right, man. It's on the list. All right, it's on the list, dude. Next time I have to re-up, that's what I'll do. Sorry, correction. I was speaking about Rouge. Abbey Rouge Privé. Yeah. No, I haven't smelled that one. Shouts out to Max Crosby. Indeed, the only current Raider fragrance, the only current Raider player that I have a jersey of. Max Crosby is definitely my favorite player, and yeah, I like Devontae, but I'm a huge Max Crosby fan. Huge. Has Rogue Perfumery become IFRA compliant? Yes, I believe so. Actually, the story he tells is that he was always IFRA compliant, which I don't remember that being the story. I remember the story being that they were rogues, they were outlaws, so they're non-IFRA compliant. But he claims that he built all these fragrances and then checked them, and turns out they just happened to be IFRA compliant. I don't know. Tabak Vert is brilliant. No one ever talks about it. I love it. I love Tabak Vert. It's one of my favorite tobaccos. I'll review it one of these days. What direction would you like to see more of in the fragrance world? Reduction of IFRA compliance, specific notes. Well, the problem is it's going to be the opposite of that. But yes, of course, I would like that. But the problem is because I think these houses have figured out a way to kind of use IFRA to make money. So you can't use oak moss. You have to use our special oak moss substitute that removes the bad, naughty materials, you know, that 0.0000001% of the population has an allergy to. And that allergy is a little red skin. Well, if they have some red skin, fuck them, you know, let them have some red skin. That's my take on it. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole, everything's a scam is what it feels like nowadays. Everything is a scam. And the world that we're living in with the direction the fragrance world is going is no different. Absolutely love imitation, man. I'm a rose and leather. I'm a rose and leather tragic. I love Namouage, but your love and enthusiasm for the brand made me discover several gems for me, the best niche brand. Actually, yes. The old stuff from Christopher Chong's era, I would 100% agree. Thanks, Paulus, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. 6-hour stream on the list to do. I don't know if I'm going to make it, dude. We might have to call this. Hell yeah, I hope you like it. Bless you, Ram. You bring a lot of happiness to us all. Your future is bright. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Most perfumes are already IFRA compliant without even trying. That was a sell gimmick. Yes, that's a good shout. Naxos, Burlington, Reflection, Latent Exclusive, and Intoxicated. I don't think I've ever smelled Intoxicated. I've done a comparison video between Reflection and Reflection 45. I've reviewed Latent Exclusive, I think, on the channel if I recall. And I have a sample of Burlington 1819. I will review one of these days. So yes, my computer is acting up. End of the day, Jinx rocks. So I've not smelled anything from Jinx yet. Nothing from them. They're on the list. I would love to. I just, I just can't. I just can't, like if someone sends me stuff, I'll talk about them one day. I wore Caniche 10 Golden Edition from your bottle this morning. It's brilliant. It really is. Really, really is. And apparently Lucky Scent, if you're in the US, still has bottles. So even though it's discontinued, they still have golden edition bottles. Ram, need more Chypre fragrance names? I'll get with you after the stream. You need to try the first Comme des Garçons, very medicinal. Yes, it's on the list. I think you're going to love it. It came out in 1994, but it was very vintage and different back then. Actually, just that house in general, I would just like to sit down and try everything from Comme des Garçons. It's just impossible. You ever had samples and the juice doesn't come out because the sample is too full, so there's no air in it? I don't know how the hell I can get the air out. You're just going to have to break it. You're just going to have to break the damn thing. I hate it when that happens too. Just get a pair of pliers and rip the top off and treat it like a splash. Allegedly. Yes, that's right, Lily. That's right. Although at the rate I'm going, hey, a little fucking lawsuit for saying shit about some brand won't be the worst thing. Although I won't read any fucking letter, I'll tell you that. Like I won't have an Aaron Terrence Hughes hostage video up in here. I said some things about a brand. No, fuck that. Fuck that. I'm going to force you to take me to court, bastards. No, I'll just probably take the stream down. Read the Ifra thing. I remember before he passed away, Alessandro Brun was talking about maybe introducing garment perfumes or fragrances like a scent handkerchief so they could ignore Ifra. That's so stupid. That is just so dumb. Russian Atom has a garment fragrance, but that actually has unrectified birch tar in it. Like there's a reason why his Cuir de Russie is a garment perfume. The Ifra stuff, there's no reason for that. Favorite ambergris fragrance? Well, I talked a lot about now I can't find it. Yeah, I talked a lot about Atlantic Ambergris by Arise Ladore, and you can see I wore the shit out of this decant. I've also reviewed Les Indemodables Ombre Supreme. That is a beautiful ambergris. And they talk about the percentage of ambergris that they use in there. I love the way Ensar Oud uses ambergris in his fragrances. They really sparkle. And I've talked about that in some of my Ensar reviews. I reviewed a fragrance from the house of La Via del Profumo called Pheromone Pour Homme, and that has a big chunk of ambergris in it. It smells very natural. And I think maybe there was one or two more hardcore ambergris fragrances, but those you're going to have to go off the beaten path because real ambergris is expensive, you know? And it's going to be brands like Arise Ladore that use the real thing. I mean, you know, if you want the real thing, the ambergris accord has become ambroxan. You know, the modern ambroxan is the replacement for real ambergris. And one of the reasons it's taken shape is because modern ambroxan can be synthesized in a lab, and it can smell the same today. It can smell the same tomorrow. It can smell the same in 10 years. If they get a hunk of ambergris and use it, and they get another hunk of ambergris, they could smell different. In fact, they will smell different. It's almost impossible to have two ambergris hunks smell the same. In fact, I'll go a step further. Russian Atom was saying that, let's say you had a chunk of ambergris and you put some in Perfumer's alcohol and let it sit for a little bit. If you make a fragrance today, and then in 5 years or a couple of years, let's say you want to make another fragrance from the exact same ambergris, it'll smell different because it sat there for 5 more years, right? It's changing. And so that's one of the problems that's one of the reasons why these big houses like Dior, like YSL, they love using synthetics because it's the same today as it is tomorrow, as it is 5 or 10 years in the future. And a lot of times it's much cheaper than using the real thing. You know, and so that's why you have to go to the artisanal houses if you want to smell real ambergris per se. Comme des Garçons Incense Avignon. It's very, very good. One of my favorite incense fragrances. I also really like Tower's Incense Extreme. But yeah, Incense Avignon is fantastic. I will review this bad boy one of these days. Have you ever smelled anything from the Scottish house Joram Studios? No, I don't believe so. I think I've heard of them. Joram. No, I haven't smelled anything from this house. I will put them on the to sniff list, though. Actually, it looks like I already have a bunch of their stuff on the wish list. Yeah, already I put a lot of these on the wish list. I'm just looking through it real quick. Yeah. But no, I've never smelled anything from this house. I'll go back and add the other ones that I haven't added later on. All right. We're almost at 3 hours. So if we're going to continue, I got to go refill my water. So bear with me. Why don't you let me go refill my water and I shall return. Don't go anywhere. But if you do, thanks for being here. All right. Okay. Let's see. Here's what we did. I just went with the Rich Mitch style. Man, streaming takes it out of you, though. Last year, I heard from Amwatch creative director that there might be a new ban by IFRA on certain ingredients. He seemed to be somewhat concerned. What are your... No clue. I don't really keep up with IFRA. Fuck IFRA. Allegedly. Least favorite Amouage. That's a tough question. That's a very tough question because there's very few Amouages that I really did not like. I really didn't like Boundless, although I wouldn't say it's my least favorite. Probably just for my personal taste. Again, not that it's a bad fragrance, but maybe one of the like Love Mimosa or something like that. They were actually respectable fragrances, but they weren't really for me. Is there an Amouage that I really thought was shite? Probably one of the new Amouages, like for example, Search, Purpose, Lineage, and Guidance. I didn't really like the new aesthetic on these. Yeah, they just don't smell like Amouages to me. I also didn't really care for... Oh, what was the one in the weird colored bottles that they did? Hang on. Amouage. Is it Enclave? No, Enclave grew on me. It was the other one. It was Meander. I didn't really like Meander. I mean, it was a nice smell for a brief amount of time, but it didn't last long. Didn't smell like an Amouage to me. Stuff like that would be the ones I would probably go with. That's a very tough question, though. Very, very good question. Most of the amouages I really liked is the thing. But I don't like the new direction of the house. I can tell you that. Thoughts about Bortnikoff's new Oud release? I'm very excited to try them. I've never smelled them. It does sound promising. I haven't smelled them, but I'm looking to add in collection Musk Ravageur. What are your opinions on new batches? The new batches are not as good as the older ones from what I hear. But I have a newer batch sample from, let's say, within the last 5 years. And then I've got a vintage pre Estee Lauder, before Estee Lauder purchased them. You can tell by the writing on the back and the matte cap and stuff like that. And there are differences, definitely. This is a little bit more animalic. You know, the newer ones have toned down some of the animalic musks. But I mean, as far as like from what the fragrances you were mentioning that are your favorites, I would probably just go buy the newest one, to be honest with you. I wouldn't go spend $600 on a vintage. Herod is my favorite. I like Herod. I have both Anubis and Salome. What else is worth everything from that? Everything. There is nothing from that house that's not full bottle worthy. I absolutely adore Hera. Like, if you're a fan of Dior Homme, Hera is like a niche Dior Homme. It's like, oh, it's so beautiful. The combination of iris and this sort of note of ambrette is just stunning. It is. Now, it is very floral. Okay, so this was actually made for her daughter's wedding. But as a man, I have no problem wearing Hera. It is beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. And then, of course, if you like tobacco and rose, I mentioned tobacco. Tobacco rose is the one Papillon fragrance that I would add to the collection if I could add one more. Okay, tobacco rose would be my one more Papillon. And if you like old school green sort of animalic chypres, like if you like things like Number 19, if you like Private Collection by Estee Lauder, I would urge you to try Dryad. Dryad is absolutely phenomenal. If you like, it's so good. The animalics in here with the green touches are to die for. It's an old school green chypre. Very well done. Have you tried Lacoste Booster? No, never. I also like Dolce & Gabbana Velvet Incenso. I've never smelled anything from that high-end Dolce & Gabbana line. Ramsey is the Alamo of fragrances. He will fight like a Texan. That's right. Beyond this line, you do not cross. Ambrosia for ambergris. Yes, that's a good shout, Noah. Thank you. That's a very good shout. Let me get my Ambrosia bottle. That's a very good shout, Noah. Yes, we were mentioning ambergris and ambrosia. The problem is, good luck finding this. I think there were 50 bottles for the whole world. But this stuff is, ooh, look at get the Prakar Gupta signature. Look at the color of that juice, man. Oh, fuck. Oh, wow. That is really, really good. I need to wear that. It's been a while since I've worn that. Been a while since I've worn Ambrosia. Yeah, go watch my review of Ambrosia. Maybe you can find a bottle on the secondary market if you've got some dough. If you've got some dough to throw around. Currently enjoying Incense Rosé by Andy Tower. Really enjoyed your review on it. I really enjoyed getting to know it, actually. There's some more Andy Tower content to come. Don't worry. There's a lot of Andy Tower content to come, actually. Maitreya Perfumery Gantier uses really good ambergris. Yeah, those older MPEGs are amazing. Thanks to Rich Mitch for sending me that sample set. Low Freud by Lutons is a great. Never smelled it. Came back from work and y'all still going? Would you work for 3 hours and quit? Ombre Supreme is probably my favorite ambergris. Well, this is the 1000 celebration. I figured we'd go for a little bit, but I've got about half an hour left in me, and then I got to go get some food. Ever since I've been trying to like run more and work out, I have been starving all the freaking time, and it doesn't matter how much I think maybe my least favorite part of working out is shoveling protein constantly in your face, like chicken, beef, protein shakes, like you're constantly just shoving protein down your throat. Doesn't even feel like you're enjoying the food anymore. You're just eating protein, like just Sometimes I'm just sitting there chewing the chicken, just like Do you like their ambergris, or is it too animalic? Ambergris is rarely too animalic. It usually works as like a spotlight. Like I think of it as like a spotlight on the other scents, like it enhances the other ingredients in the fragrance. You are right about Diaghilev. The more you use it, it will last longer on your skin. It stacks. Look how much I used before it lasted 24 hours on my skin. Oh, yeah. So you're saying because I got a hell of a dent in my bottle is why mine lasts forever? Maybe you're right. This thing lasts forever. I mean, literally forever on my skin. But this is my application too. 4 sprays on one spot. Oh, look at that. Just spray away, baby. Oh, I love Diaghilev, man. Roja called it a big Baroque Chypre. And he's right. It's got some sexy aspects to it. It's got some like sexual, like you're in a room with your lover. Maybe you don't have the air conditioning on. Your body is like sweating. It's got some, there's definitely something dirty about this, but in a sexy way. Avignon's fantastic, but Zagorsk is the favorite. I've never smelled that. Milan. You should do a live stream with Rich and Jonathan again. Yeah, I love that. I would love that. That would be awesome. And it's like 30 ml used from the 100 ml bottle, and it's no signature on it. On a side note, no signature on it. Okay, so you're saying once you went through 30 mils, it now lasts 24 hours on your skin, Allie? Is that what you're saying? Meander, yeah, Meander was nah. Do you think the opening of Histoire 1740 smells similar to snuff? Smells like snuff. I never got snuff. Maybe snuff films, but I never got snuff. For me, it's purpose. Just black pepper and slightly smoky better. Yeah, one of these 4 is not impressive. I really enjoy their ambergris. It is less marine than Amber Extreme. Santal Noble contains... I really want a vintage bottle of Santal Noble. Really want a vintage bottle. Let me show you this set that Rich Mitch sent to me. Look at this thing. Look at this. Look at this. And that is just freaking cool, man. Shouts out to Rich. Shouts out to Rich. So Santal Noble's right here. It is glorious. I'm not going to lie. Maybe one of the best sandalwood fragrances I don't have in my collection. It is phenomenal. But I'll tell you the one that I really fell in love with from these that I've tried so far is this one. I think it's discontinued, but it's called Bois de Zile. Bois de Zile. Very unassuming. Sorry, I lied. Eau de Zile. Eau de Zile. Eau de Zile. So Eau de Zile is almost like Maitre Parfumé Gantier does Antaeus. I mean, it's literally like this myrtle-y, leathery, but in that high-end Maitre Parfumé Gantier style. I love it. I love it. Fuck Diaghilev, man. But Santal Noble, I'd love a bottle. Their Du Vetiver is a dark vetiver. Dark, rich, smoky, earthy vetiver. So yeah, there's still a bunch of these I need to try. So maybe we'll do a Maitre Parfumé Gantier live stream one day. But this is what a beautiful gift from Rich, man. Beautiful gift. And as far as like, you know, niche fragrance brands go, you're not going to do much better than that. So yes, a lot of content still on the channel. I grabbed a couple things I was just going to talk about. This bottle of Egoist that I have that says La Egoist on the front is my favorite bottle of Egoist that I have in my collection. I've got a silver sprayer version that has Egoist on it. I have a matte or black sprayer version. This is the modern stuff. Look at the juice color difference, by the way. So don't tell me they haven't been reformulated, or allegedly. But this is the modern version, okay? And but this is, oh my God, man! It's so rich and cinnamony and woody, and I love the rosewood in here. I love the tobacco. Oh man, this bottle came from Japan. It is fucking amazing. What else? Oh, this needs to be discussed more on my channel. I love Santos. Santos. Oh, it's so elegant and classy and spicy, and love it. So this I talked a little bit about in passing, but I'm just going to bring it up here really quick. If you go to Parfumo and you type in Dunhill Icon from 2015, it says it is discontinued. It says it was last marketed by Inter Parfums. What the F? Maybe the best thing Dunhill has done in forever. I mean, my favorite Dunhills are Dunhill Blend 30, which is, this stuff is probably the best thing Dunhill's ever done, personally. And then maybe the second best thing they've ever done is this. And you can see the Japanese stickers all over it. The original Dunhill for men cologne. This stuff is phenomenal in the vintage form. The new bottle that I have is The new bottle, and I'll do a comparison video one day, but the new bottle that was done by what is that? EA Fragrances? What is that? I can't see who makes it, but either way, this is the vintage, this is the modern, and the vintage wipes the floor with it. So this is 1934. That's like 1970. Dunhill Blend 30 is like 1978. And then Dunhill just disappeared. I mean, I reviewed something from the 80s from them. It was called, what was it? There was a Dunhill fragrance I reviewed from the 80s on the channel that I thought it was so. Hang on, I'll tell you. Just give me a second. It was called what was it called? What in tarnation was it called? That's going to piss me off. How do I not know what it was called? All right, I'm looking it up on my channel. How about that? Dunhill Ramsey. Aha! It was called Dunhill Edition. It was called Dunhill Edition. So I reviewed Dunhill Edition. Why did I not see it on here? There we go. Dunhill Edition from 1984. So I reviewed Dunhill Edition, and it was so-so, right? But this is amazing stuff from Carlos Benaim, the original icon. Don't worry about all the flankers and all that stuff. But the original icon, if you're a fan of Terre de Hermes and that kind of stuff, check this one out. This has Iris and Oud and a bunch of other stuff, but it's got one of the most amazing narrowly notes for a designer, in my opinion. Okay, my 2 cents. I think Icon was one of the better designer releases, let's just say, of the last decade. Beautiful narrowly note, very expensive material, and they discontinued it. I mean, I will never understand that in my, in the way I see things. But yes. Have you tried Lost Tribe? No. No, I have not. What's your favorite perfume house? Right now? Aries Ladore. I don't know. I mean, I really used to like Amouage until Christopher Chong left. Amouage was probably my favorite until Christopher Chong left. I mean but I've been really into the artisanal houses lately. So like Aries, I know I shouted out a few of his stuff like Quirtus, Oud Taiwan. You know, I've been really digging. I mentioned Atlantic Ambergris. I've been digging these kind of artisanal fragrances lately. But if you said like traditional French fragrance house, it would probably be Guerlain. Guerlain is my go-to French house. I love what Guerlain did before LVMH took him over, and did what LVMH does. Why don't you add protein powder to your ice cream? That's a great point. But I do a lot of protein powder now. Vintage Guerlains are the best. Yep. Cheers. Have you ever tried any Brazilian fragrances? Malbec. No, I have not. I'm sorry. Are there any fragrances or aroma chemicals you are anosmic to? I hate Baccarat Rouge 540, by the way, but I'm not anosmic to Ambroxan, but like most people, ISOE Super sometimes makes me go at anosmic as hours go on, you know, so a couple hours in you'll stop smelling it, but everyone around you can still kind of smell it. So yes, I agree with you. How's everyone doing? What's going on? Thanks for being here. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you. What are your top civet fragrances? Well, I did a civet. There was a couple reference videos I did where I picked a particular note and gave you reference fragrances in my collection that highlight that note. And so civet was one of those. So you can check out that video, but Koros is the no-brainer. Koros and Furio. Koros and Furio, these two. This one's discontinued. This one, you can still find it, like Anuj said, but the newer ones aren't going to have the civet in the same way the Charles of the Ritz bottles do. But yeah, that would be my just civet reference. But go watch my reference fragrance videos. Meander is just meh. Yeah, exactly. I was very disappointed. You know, when the Fishman kind of put the brakes on Amouage and really made them take a hard right turn or left turn, this way, right turn, left turn, that's when I knew that's it. It's all downhill from here. Santal Noble is glorious. It is a beautiful sandalwood. So I couldn't explain it correctly. More you use from your new bottles, it will last longer. More than 24 hours, but 8 sprays. I do spray away too. Oh, fuck. Diaghilev's so good. I was at work. Hope the stream would not end until I finished. Might get Epona when my paycheck arrived. Love the review, and I won't. And I want another Papillon like crazy. Best niche stuff out there. I love Liz Moes' work, man. I can't wait to have her on the channel. EnchantéPerfumes.com is the best place. I said it a million times. I'll say it again. There you go. There it is right there. EnchantéPerfumes.com. That when people ask me where do I buy discontinued fragrances, that's the first place I send them. I mean, you can go to eBay and just buy something, but the thing about buying from Anuj is that you know it's been properly stored in the warehouse and all that stuff. And Anuj has on a couple occasions I bought something from him and there's a problem. He's fixed it instantly. I've had never have I ever walked away from a transaction with him disappointed. Ever. There are some other ones out there like leparfume.com, Le Parfume, but their prices are, they're very, very proud. Very, very proud. So yes, I would just point you to it. As a starting point, I would point you to Anuj. Have to drop off. Thanks, Sencini. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it. Santos is discontinued. Santos is discontinued? Really? It says it's still in production on Parfumo. I wonder if it just got discontinued. Bois de Turkey. It is. Yes, it really is. Bois de Turkey. Bluebell ice cream for the win. Let's go. Bobby Jones Parfum. Never heard of it. Met Ombre Supreme. Have you smelled Louis Vuitton Pure Oud? No. No, I have not. I know that's one of the really expensive. Really interesting. Yeah, that's on the list. How are you? Finally, I will have Trussardi Pour Homme in action. The vintage ones. By the way, it is very early morning in Bali, Indonesia. Thanks for being here. Congrats. I reviewed Trussardi's Uomo on the channel. The original from 1983, the Beatrice Piquet creation. And I have action, so I will review it one of these days. They really messed up with Amouage Library Collection, the bottle design, and discontinuation. 100% agree, JD. 100%. Ever heard of Pierre Montal's real history? Fake name, pirated Jean-Paul Guerlain JPG bottles and went to court with an Arabian guy for the brand ownership. Very shady. Made me despise Montal. I hate Montal / Mancera. I only own one, and I told A2 I would send it to him after I've reviewed it. So, yes. But I have reviewed a couple. Not a fan. Ombre Supreme is absolutely wonderful. I bought it on Rams Rec. It's so unique and high quality. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you. If I can be recommending that type of perfumery to you, I'm happy. Couldn't get into a reach. Blind bought Forbidden Flower. Really enjoyed the craftsmanship and the quality of the raw materials. However, my daughter said I smelled like pee, and I got her point. Well, Forbidden Flower used skunk oil, which many times, like when you think about some of these ingredients like castoreum, deer musk, stuff like that, a lot of times those are used to draw, like deer musk is used to attract the opposite sex deer. But skunk is literally a repellent. So you had to be very careful with how much you used. But I really liked Forbidden Flower. I like the grapefruity top and all that stuff. But yes, it is, I know it also could be one of those things that has to grow on you, but you can make protein ice cream with Ninja Creamy smoothie like custard. Taste amazing. Low calorie. Whole serving can be over 50 grams. Yeah. I need a hot assistant to help me with that, though. I can't be doing all this stuff on my own. My Diaghilev bottle is fine. Heck yeah, Matt. It's on my to buy list. I currently have a sample, and it is amazing summer scent. What's your take on what's happening in the Middle East? I'm not getting into that. Serge Luton's Ecrin de Fumé is, I really like over Chergui. I have not smelled that. I have bottles. I have multiple bottles of Chergui right here, but I do not or have never smelled Ecrin de Fumé. Aloha, Spice. What's up, homie? Proud of you, buddy. Raw extract of muskrat, black ambergris, and young beaver castoreum. That is what's up right there. A witch's brew of animalics, muskrat. You don't see muskrat used too often. I have a fragrance from Suga, TSVGA Parfums called Fiona that uses muskrat, but very rarely do you find muskrat. Just like very rarely do you find skunk, since we were talking about Forbidden Flower. Does Enchante also sell limited releases? I mean, something like, no. He's all vintage. All vintage. Contacted my retailer and the last bottles arrived a month or two ago. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, that is very, very, that's a Debbie Downer, man, because Santos is one of the all-time greats from the 80s. How's everyone? I found a vintage chorus for $320 and is brand new in box and is 100 mils. I mean, who's the producer? Is it the original Charles of the Ritz? Or is it Parfums Corp? Is it L'Oreal? How vintage are you talking? I only own one Montal, which is Oud Queer de Adabi. Actually, that's one of my favorite Montals I've ever smelled. I've got a sample somewhere. Actually, it might be right here. Yes, Oud Queer de Adabi, my favorite Montal I've ever smelled. It is it is very much like Pure Oud by Louis Vuitton. Really interesting. the longevity on the Montal is a fraction of the Louis Vuitton. Interesting. It's Parfums Corp. Yeah, it's still fine. Whatever. That's still good. You know, offer them 280 or something. See if they take it. Price is so subjective, though, Alexandros. You know, that's the thing. That's why I usually don't talk about price too much, because $320 to you may be a lot. It may be a little. I mean, everyone's different, but Divorce's final scent of the day. Damn, that's a tough one. I don't know. I gotta sleep on that one, Jared. I gotta sleep on that. It may be a lot more than just fragrances, I'll tell you that. Grossmith's Full Nana, which I've been digging lately. Damn. I got so excited it kicked me out. Serge Luton's Ecrin de Fume is a cacao tobacco incense rum. Interesting. I love the brand of Serge. I just, you know, there's always so much you can try and talk about. I've reviewed a couple Serges on the channel. Are you down to tell us why you're on a no buy? Oh, yeah, it's because of the divorce. Because of the divorce. If you knew how much I've spent so far on lawyers and this and that, I just can't right now. Plus, I have a lot of stuff to wear, as you can see. I have a lot of stuff to wear. So I don't really need to buy anything else. Not just to wear, but also for the channel to discuss on, you know, to discuss on the channel. And as you can see, I'm no longer married. 20 sprays of Koros. I love Koros. Plumeria de Oris. Wow, that's a rare Aries Ladore. Greeting Mads. Yeah, I reviewed that on the channel, actually, off of just a tiny little drop that I had. I'm wearing Anthenor Menditarosa. Never smelled it. Have you smelled Killian Pearl Oud? No, there's a lot of Killians I have not smelled. I never tried Montal Mancera, but I knew they were trash. You're a smart man. You cut off when talking about the Full Nana. Oh, yeah, I was just saying I like it. I like that brand a lot. I'm a big fan of Grossmith. I reviewed it on the channel. I like Polo Crest. I have a bottle, but I like the original Polo more. I'll review both one of these days. Yeah, I've got a decant of red tobacco. It's, you know, I like this better than red tobacco, actually. This Oud Queer de Arabi. Would have to be La Jose de Cuervo. Hazamore Les Orangears by Parfum d'Empire. Fabulous orange on this hot summer day. Here's to the next 1,000. Thank you, Bartman. I've never smelled that, but I really like the House of Parfum d'Empire. I will be reviewing things like Ambre Rousse, which is an amazing amber, by the way. I was going to say maybe like the Woman on Me would be my scent of the Divorce's final, whatever she's wearing. But yes. Musk Tonkin is amazing from Parfum d'Empire as well. If you like things like really animalic musks, Musk Kublai Khan by Serge Luton, that kind of thing. Musk Tonkin's amazing. And Tabak Taboo. Interestingly enough, I mentioned it in the review of Ipona that I did from Papillon. There's this kind of hay-like skin, sparkling skin smell that comes through here. That's really, really, really very interesting. And shows up a little bit in Ipona. And Queer Ottoman, if you like Roja's Great Britain, but you don't want to pay Great Britain prices, which who would, I would urge you to try Queer Ottoman. Kind of like a poor man's Great Britain. and Fougere Bengal. Very interesting Fougere with some tea and spices. These two, I think, share some similarities, but yes, this is definitely a brand that needs to be discussed more in the niche realm. Definitely. They're very, very underrated. Let me put them back because I'm running out of room. I am running out of room here on my desk. Have you tried Meleg Civic Cat Chypre? I think I might have reviewed it on the channel. I can't keep up, but there's a couple Melegs I reviewed. If you look up my old reviews, you might see a review of it. If I didn't review it individually, there's a Meleg live stream that I did once that I may have discussed it on. What do you think of Loewe Pour Homme? I just ordered a vintage bottle. I love it. I love Loewe Pour Homme. It's one of the greatest lemony scents, you know. I actually may prefer this over something like Eau Sauvage. Now that Scent Genie's gone, we can talk about Eau Sauvage in the proper manner. But Loewe Pour Homme is just amazing. I would love a Pata Hombre bottle, but Rich Mitch has a couple of those Pata Hombres. Road to work in the Ram is still going. I'm about to jet because I gotta eat some dinner. I'm heading off. It's pretty late. Have to work. Thanks for being here seldomly often. I'm thinking of getting Pierre Cardin. Pour Monsieur. You can't go wrong. That's a classic. I reviewed it on the channel. Made an Oud. Parfum d'Empire made an Oud fragrance this year. Haven't smelled it, but looks interesting. Ah, nice. Yeah, I'd love to smell that. Someone just got a Lyra bottle from Alain Delon, 15 mils for 10 euros. Nice. That sounds awesome. Make sure she's not wearing Ariana. That's right. Thinking about buying Michael Jordan Eau de Cologne. Notes are interesting. Is that that may have been one of the first fragrances I ever had, because I had a Michael Jordan fragrance in the 90s, but which one? Michael Jordan. It was called it was just called Michael Jordan, the one with the O in his name, a red circle, from 1996. It was last marketed by Parlux. That was probably my first fragrance. I think that's the one. Cedar leaf cognac. Yeah, that's the one. That I think that was my first fragrance. Arpège Parfum on the cube bottle. Arpège is, Arpège is one of the greatest fragrances of all time. Arpège is one of the greatest fragrances of all time. This is one of the greatest, what would you call it? Like, I don't know, like a floral. This is like an aldehydic floral, maybe. Oh my God. Oh fuck, that is just phenomenal. Yeah, I think this influenced stuff like Amouage, Gold Man, Gold Woman, Hermes Kalesh. Arpège is a legend. I mean, if you can find a vintage X-Ray like I have here, get it. Get it. Don't even think about it. Just get it. The only tea scents I've tried is Bulgari Pour Homme Soir. Now that's very light. Yeah, I much prefer. Try Serge Luton's 5 o'clock au gingembre. It's fantastic. Tea biscuit kind of thing. So, are modern reformulations of Antaeus good? I would go for, I always go vintage. I'm a vintage Ram. I hear they're kept up well, but they're not going to be like the original. If you want the Castoreum, you got to go vintage. If you want the Castoreum like it used to be back in the day, you got to go vintage. So, but it's 4 o'clock, so I think I'm going to have to call this bad boy. Maybe a 6-hour stream is harder than I think, but never smelled anything from A Home World. I know that's Dixit's and Zach's brand, new brand. Well, that's Zach's new brand. Dixit's new brand is Perito Moreno. So, yeah, I've done a Perito Moreno live stream, but I've never smelled any of A Home World. Could you say anything about something about denim cologne? It's probably one of the best cheapies of all time. It's an old school leather chypre. I mean, you can't go wrong with denim. The original denim. I think you used to be able to find them for like $6. Greatest value for money ever. Yeah, man. Thanks for being here, Cat Church. Thanks for being here. Buster, thank you, everybody. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Stevie. Thanks for making this channel what it is. More reviews to come. Lick the stream on your way out. I very much appreciate it. And try to join August 10th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for Liz Moes. Love to have a turnout like this for her when she shows up on the channel as well. So, as always, cheers, guys. And here's to the next 1,000. Bye-bye.